What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 54. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the future class of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
What's up, Greg?
What's up with you, Blessing? You've already done a games daily today. You had a big weekend of playing games and watching movies and doing stuff. How are you right now on Monday?
I'm doing good. I started off this Monday very tired because
Sure.
I went to bed late last night because I was watching an anime called Hunter x Hunter. And right before the show, I explained to you what Hunter x Hunter was. Very good anime. Very, very much enjoying it. But that meant I went to bed late last night, woke up this morning, and I was like, I've made a mistake. But now I'm feeling good. Like, I think I'm ready to roll. Very excited for today's episode because we're doing something very exciting.
Oh, the PlayStation Resurrection bracket, of course.
Yeah.
64 games in, or one will be given a chance to become back in our hearts and minds, I guess, because I don't think PlayStation's listening to us. Before we get there, what I needed to know is, today on Games Daily, did you figure out the stock market? Because I woke up, I saw this GameStop stock market fiasco going on, and I went to the calendar, and I was like, oh, thank God I'm not on Games Daily today, and I don't have to try to make sense of any of this. Did you understand it? Are you versed?
I think I'm as versed as I need to be. It was one of those things where I woke up, saw the story, and I was like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna have to figure out a whole world that I'm just not familiar with. And thankfully, GameSpot had a very good article on it. That was just, here's everything you need to know, which is confusing for the show because I was then like, okay, cool. Let's talk about GameStop stocks from GameSpot. And that was like a whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's no good. That's no good. You can't do that.
They had a very good article summing it up. I also have my friend Yami is very into stocks. And so she helped kind of explain it to me too. Basically what's going on with GameStop is that there was a dude who was like, yo, like GameStop stocks can be like manipulated in this way, and then Reddit was like, we don't like this guy, he's trying to make a bet on GameStop stocks going down, and like and a lot of people are going to correct me because I don't have this at all.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Basically he was making a certain bet that GameStop stocks could be shorted or something like that. And then Reddit, there's like a whole Reddit community, huge Reddit community that is based around stocks and stuff, and they saw what he said and they were like, fuck this guy, we're going to invest in GameStop and like fuck up with the whole market. And so now GameStop stock prices are at a high, like
now
over
they're crashing,
100%.
right?
I think now they're probably in the process of crashing.
Jason Schreier, I think while you guys were live, was documenting the fall now of now that the jig's up and people understand that they were just getting screwed over, how this is going. But stock market, man, the shorts, the bears, the bulls.
Oh my God.
Michael Jordan.
You watched Wolf of Wall Street. You know.
I did. I kind of feel like I'm the guy who said you should buy GameStop stock back then. I was doing the mad money on Kind of Funny Games Daily that people keep giving me credit for. Like,
I hope Greg slips or whatever they
people
call
like
them.
Yeah, exactly. Penny slips, right? The penny stocks. And it was people were like, oh man, I hope Greg took his own stock advice, and I will assure you, no, the fuck I did not. I don't go in the stock market. I ain't going over there. You kidding me?
If you did have GameStop stock and you sold it during the surge, you probably made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you probably run out of time now to like do that because they crashed.
There were a bunch of like Redditors who had like gotten super fucking crazy rich off of this.
Yeah. As they always are. That's Barrett on the ones and twos. So good luck to you if you made the money good. I was too busy playing video games to care what's going on in the actual stock market. All right, don't worry about it. Keeping your money in the mattress worked for Grandpa Miller. It'll work for Greggy Miller. That's what I say. You know what I mean? What's good for him is good for me.
You should invest in Bitcoin. Let me tell you about Bitcoin. No, I'm joking. I don't know anything about Bitcoin other than it doesn't depreciate in value like regular money does. Bitcoin just sits there, and while the actual dollar goes down, Bitcoin stays the same.
I do not think that is correct. That is not.
That's what I heard on a podcast, and podcasts never lie.
Yeah, well, that's true, I guess. Before we get into the actual stuff, it blew my mind one day when we were walking through the mall and they had a Bitcoin kiosk there where you could go and like put your money in and turn it into Bitcoin or whatever.
Really?
Like right there, that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea.
All this stuff is so scary to me. Like I don't like. I mean,
listen, we are children. We are children.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean?
I did listen to a whole podcast the other day that was all about Bitcoin. It was this dude breaking down like, no, this is why Bitcoin is the future. This is why like you can make so much money off of it, and like it's a risk, but it's a very good risk and all this stuff. And I was sitting there listening to it like, this sounds insane.
Late-stage
This sounds like
capitalism
madness.
is fucking awful.
This sounds terrifying, but
Well,
also cool if you're successful with it.
I like to
Then you get
think
the
that this
money.
show is terrifying and kind of cool. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. Each and every week, Blessing and I come together to nerd out about all things PlayStation. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where, of course, you can be part of the show. You can get the show ad-free. You can get the show with the exclusive post show we do each and every episode. And more importantly for today, you can be in the live chat like Demetrius Newell, Nick, a.k.a. Roy Yank is, Donovan Schwartz, the Lou, Madeline is, a whole bunch of people there today because, of course, we are going to be turning to them for straw polls when we have tiebreakers that are needed in the PlayStation Resurrection bracket. However, if you have no bucks tossed our way, it's no big deal. You can go over to youtube.com/kindafunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every Tuesday morning to get a brand spanking new episode of the show. Of course, it has ads. Of course, you're not watching it live. Of course, you don't get the post show. Those are all patreon.com/kindafunnygames perks. But no matter where you get the show, thank you for your support. We love and appreciate you. Housekeeping for you. There is a brand new rundown of stream highlights up over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Of course, Roger Pokorny doing some amazing edits over there, lying about Avengers, but that's no big deal. He's over there doing a whole bunch of stuff. You know what? He has a whole bit in there about making you mad and making you quit the stream.
Dude,
so I don't think you want to get.
Funny.
I don't think you want to get on his side
either.
either.
Blessings.
Yeah, the blessings was funny. Yeah, you misspelled your name.
You misspelled my name?
So bad when we
Yeah.
played.
Oh,
He got you.
That's the worst. People
Yeah, he
always
got
put an
you.
S at the end. It's like there's no S. It's singular.
I
I'm
know.
one blessing, not two, not three.
But
Just
that
one.
was that was part of the biz. It was funny, Blessing.
I'm gonna leave this episode.
No, you left the Fortnite stream. You can't leave this as well. YouTube.com/kindafunnygames to catch the stream highlights. Also over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Since we were last live, a brand new episode of the Blessing Show as Blessing breaks down what's up with IO Interactive with Hitman and 007. A very good episode, Blessing.
Thank you, Greg. That was actually I know Tim mentioned this, I think, on one of the game's dailies, but that was actually the first episode we recorded. Fun fact.
I love it. I love that little
But it's
inside
episode
baseball.
2.
Wow. But it was
We
number
released it
one.
like
but it's
episode 2.
Yeah.
We
I like the
recorded
green
it
screen
episode
bit.
one.
You had the green
Blown
screen
my
bit.
mind, Blessing.
I hope we do more. Like the green screen bits are so hard to pull off, but like to get that green screen, I had to go to the office and steal it and bring it back
Sure.
to my apartment. And now in my apartment, there's just a green screen just hanging out in our living room permanently.
Yeah.
And so I want to incorporate it more.
Where's my
Otherwise,
Game Award?
The thing's just it's also in my apartment, just sitting around. But it's
I mean,
great
you have a
decoration.
shelf back there. You could just, again, move the
Oh, the Game
Butterfinger
The
cloud.
Game
and
Award
put it
will
up there.
break that shelf.
There's
know
no
if you-
drywall screws in there. It's just easily you can only.
It is adhesive that is holding that shelf to the
Gotcha.
wall.
Fair.
It
Yeah,
is
don't put
not
it up there.
screws.
Yeah, Game Award come down, go right through your TV.
Yep.
Of course, on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can be a Patreon producer just like Julian, the gluten-free gamer, Sancho West Gaming, and James Hastings. Today, we're brought to you by ExpressVPN, Freshly, and MeUndies. But we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the episode with topic of the show. It's time. It is time for the PlayStation Resurrection bracket, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't been following us for the past few weeks, a conversation started about which PlayStation franchise deserves a shot at redemption, deserves a shot to be resurrected. And so we talked about doing, hey, we'll come in here and we'll argue about it. And then it was like, hey, why don't we do the bracket again like we did for when we wanted to figure out what the best PlayStation exclusive of all time was. And then, as he often does, SD Infected stepped up and did all the work for us. Because, of course, we would not have done any work for it. It would have just been us arguing before and not actually having a list of games in front of us. So if you are watching live right now, if you are watching later, or you just want to keep up, or you want to pull your car over and pause the phone, you can go to kindafunny.com/bracket. You will find the bracket there. This is the fancified version that Andy did of SD Infected's bracket. If you remember last week, we put up a bracket, sent you over there. It was unfinished. There were a bunch of buys. We asked you to go over there on the Twitter to SD Infected and say what games you thought should be added in. He added them back in to take the place of those buys. So some of the rankings are off. But SD Infected's original explanation for this was this. The rankings are based on the average Metacritic user score for any of the games in the franchise. It's definitely not scientific, since some of the older games don't have as many or any user reviews. This is important because, of course, this is a fun show. We're having a fun time. I'm going to argue about fun PlayStation things. So it's not a scientific method, and you don't need to do it. And so when we go through this, I know what you're going to say. You're all going to sit there and bitch and moan about where your fucking game is. And what I'm going to tell you, you stupid, conceited, lazy fucks, is that you had the chance last week, as I said, to go to the bracket, kindafunny.com/bracket, look at what wasn't listed there, and then make your case for it. And I know what else you're saying right now. Did Greg just call me a lazy fuck? No, I am talking specifically about myself. Okay. Greg Miller, the man who made this fucking thing happen. I saw SC Infected put it out. I said, okay, this is good enough. And then I look at it. Where the fuck's Infamous? Why did I let my guard down? Why didn't I think this through?
Fucking idiot, Greg. You played
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because I looked at this list and I was like, where is Brave Fencer Musashi? Nobody ever thinks about Brave Fencer Musashi. That should be on this list 100%. Infamous, also a good point. Infamous should be on this.
Well, I think, again, SD sent this over. Again, SD Infected does amazing work. Thank you so much for doing all this for us, putting this in there. And again, there's a gajillion games, 64 games on this list. That's a ton of games and a ton of work. I think SD might have been using something of and I again haven't gone all the way through to confirm this even, but I think he might have been going off of if it had something last generation, he's not counting it here.
Is Killzone here?
If there was a PlayStation 4 thing is in there. I don't think Killzone is here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that is the rule he put in there because KDG wrote in and said, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Hi, Greg and Blessing. Is it safe to assume that given Knack's absence from the Resurrection bracket, that you are in fact confirming it is still an active franchise and that Knack 3 is definitely 100% coming this year? Many thanks, KDG, year of Knack. And then Matt, you also wrote in and said, not ignoring the bracket completely, I Rush really deserves a shot to come back. It's wonderfully charming set of, and that's when I was like, oh man. Yeah, no Knack, no Gravity Rush, no Infamous. That's when I started the wheels rolling of I think that's what's going on there. But again, SC made it, and you all went and looked at it, and these are what you said, so it's all on you. It's on all of us what happened here, all right? What happened here is on all of us. Spyro is on here. But Spyro we had a conversation about last week, remember? If Spyro counted as a dormant franchise, and we said yes, because it hadn't resurrected in a real form.
Yeah. Like, aside from the Spyro trilogy, we haven't gotten a new Spyro game.
Yeah, and even yeah. But even that I don't fully count. Like we can read the tea leaves here and see a bit of the understanding of what was going on.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. We all got to suck it up. We all, let it down. I didn't actually ask SC to explain how he came up with the bracket. So it's kind of all on us, and we're just having a good time arguing about PlayStation. I will be using straw polls for when we get to a thing, because of course me and Blessing will decide the fate of these games as we go, and then from there we will go. So I know it's an audio show. I know 64 games are a lot of games. Again, kindafunny.com/bracket. You can go to right now. You can look at it. You can see what's going on. However, I'm not going to, I think when we did this for the PlayStation exclusive, I think I read through all the brackets at once. I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to start with the triangle bracket. All right. Because of course there's triangle, square, circle, cross.
Perfect.
We're starting in triangle. The number 1 seed is the Legend of Dragoon. The number 16 seed is SingStar. That's the first matchup. Obviously, I'll read these in pairs. Then it's number 8 versus number 9, Pursuit Force versus PlayStation All-Stars. Then it's number 5 versus number 12, Warhawk versus Cool Borders. Then it's number 4, SOCOM versus number 13, Parasite Eve. Number 3, Jet Moto versus number 14, Kessen. Number 6, Motorstorm versus number 11, Spyro. Number 7, Wild Arms versus number 10, Invisimals. And number 2, Dark Cloud versus number 15, War of the Monsters. Blessing, I feel like when we did this before, we learned that round 1 goes quicker than you think it does. Because these are usually the big ones, a 1 versus 16. Seeding's a bit different this time because, again, there was a lot of buys that games just got tossed into because I didn't want to make both SC Infected and Andy really have to go through and redo the entire bracket. So we're starting with the Legend of Dragoon versus SingStar. Where do you go?
Greg, how do you feel about an early upset?
Now, here's again, everybody who's pulling their car over to scream. Here's what I will say as I've looked through the entire fucking bracket. All right, Lord Almighty, with the JRPGs and stuff out here. You know what I mean? Like these games are not making it to the fucking end. So as we get into the Resurrection bracket, I do think we need to have a conversation about what we're doing, right? We are not sitting here and saying, hey, this is a great franchise and I want another game in it. Clearly, all these games could be great franchises. We want another game. We're saying, what is a game that could compete in the 2021 landscape? What do people want to see? And I would sit here and argue, man, maybe it's time to get SingStar off the mothballs. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like SingStar is a fun time. In 2021, if they brought back SingStar, think about what that could do culturally. Like, think about how that could bring people together in a time where everybody's separate. Add an online mode. Legend of Dragoon.
Well, they had
cool.
They've always had.
No, I don't have much to say about Legend of Dragoon. Seems like a cool game.
Yeah, it was never one of. That's the thing. It was never one of my games. All right, cool. You know what I mean? There you go. Legend of Dragoon is a role-playing video game developed by Japan Studios. Published by Sony. All right, yeah, we know. And I know all the JRPG nerds out there are like, but it's like SingStar's a lot of fun here.
I love.
All right, SingStar's a lot of fun.
The Lou has a point in the live chat. It says, "No fucking way, karaoke simulator. Just go do karaoke."
You can't do karaoke anymore. When are you going to do karaoke, right?
True.
Exactly.
You got a house full of people.
2021 like kind of landscape here. It does make sense. You have a good counterpoint.
Thank you very much. And of course, if you remember when they, as somebody obviously who I would like to think is synonymous with SingStar to some extent. I would definitely.
I will say, so I mentioned on Twitter last week that for this bracket, I started to Google and look up trailers, gameplay, and reviews for a lot of these games just to like refresh myself. And I actually stopped doing that after I got through the first round of the bracket because I was like, all right, enough is enough. I can't.
You're like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, whatever happens. Most of these games are dead for a reason. I want to point that out. Like some of these games, awesome games that I wish, that I would like to come back. A lot of these games are dead for a reason. SingStar, not one of those games. I will say though, when I typed in SingStar in YouTube, you were the first thing that popped up. You're the number one thing.
I did a lot of SingStar content. You know what I mean? We all left the GDC Sony presentation 2007, where they talked about Game 2.0, and it was Little Big Planet, and it was SingStar, and it was something else that's escaping me right now. Everybody wanted to talk about Little Big Planet, Play, Create, Share, and I was like, I'm going to get to make karaoke videos and upload them, and people are going to vote on them. And everybody was like, why do you care so much on this singing game? That, of course, was a huge movement in PS2 versions of it, a huge movement in Europe, over in England, merry old England. People love SingStar, way bigger than it was here. But yeah, remember too, like the last version of SingStar that was released, you sang into your cell phones. Like that's what you use. You didn't need the peripheral anymore. You didn't need the the SingStar mics that were all about that. Yeah, which is pretty helpful. And that's the thing. Over here, of course, again, we invite you to watch live twitch.tv or no, I'm sorry, patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Nope, that's not. Yes, that's right. That is the right one. Usually you guys are watching and you're not that much part of the show. We don't like to pull you in here. But I see somebody out here trying to argue against me on this one, right? It's going so fast. Mike L says, Twitch sings, TikTok, there are options. Yes, there are incredibly popular options. Wouldn't you want that on your PlayStation? Wouldn't you want that back? Have a nice little SingStar suite out there, be singing, sharing videos, doing all this stuff, challenge your friends. Just before this, Blessing and Barrett were talking about their Hitman scores and seeing each other on the leaderboards. Get that going with some SingStar out here. Legend of Dragoon, come on. How many JRPGs do you people need?
And that's my thing is like because the way I look at this bracket is the Resurrection bracket. Like the winner of this bracket is going to be resurrected into a franchise for a PlayStation first party, and there is so much competition for a Legend of Dragoon versus the competition for SingStar. Like if a SingStar came out today, I think that would have way more potential to blow up and become a thing more so than a Legend of Dragoon. Like the nerds will love Legend of Dragoon. Yes,
of course.
Right.
Here's the thing. I know the nerds already love Legend of Dragoon, the nerds who listen to the show and support us on Patreon. Hey, but it's just like, again, how many do you need? How many JRPGs? Is there a Legend of
Persona? That's all we need. That's all we need.
I'm sorry, I can hear what you said, Barrett.
We have Persona. That's all we need.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We have Final Fantasy. You have Yakuza. We have multiple Final Fantasies. First of all, like we're getting Final Fantasy 16. How much do you need a Legend of Dragoon versus a SingStar?
We need a SingStar. I'm voting SingStar.
I'm voting SingStar also.
Do you you believe in miracles? The number 16 seed dethroning the Legend of Dragoon and pissing off all sorts of old farts like Jared Petty and a whole bunch of people who have no idea what that game is and don't care. Up next, Blessing. Pursuit Force versus PlayStation All-Stars. This is the number 8 seed, Pursuit Force, versus the number 9 seed, PlayStation All-Stars.
I mean, my pick is PlayStation All-Stars. I miss that game. Even though that game wasn't everything I wanted it to be, I'm a big Smash person. I love Super Smash Brothers, and PlayStation All-Stars did not live up to that. Yeah. I think I would love another go at it. I'd love for them to try it out again, especially with the 2021 PS5 PlayStation roster, where you can have Astrobot and Spider-Man and Aloy and Jin Sakai and Kratos and Atreus, right? Like that roster in 2021 looks, I think, way better than the roster on the PS3, especially if they are able to dig back in to the characters that they didn't get in the original PlayStation All-Stars. There is banging potential for that.
This is, as much shit as we just talked about, Legend of Dragoon or whatever. I'm voting PlayStation All-Stars as well. However, I do want to give all respect to Pursuit Force, which was a fun, you're the cops, you're driving crazy, you're doing this stuff. You know what I mean? It was, for me, a big PSP game, right? Like, I remember doing so much stuff with that at IGN back in the early part of my career. But I'm with you of like, especially as we talk about Resurrection, which to me is like your second chance, right? Literally, you're back from the dead. A chance to make amends on the things you fucked up the first time. I would say PlayStation All-Stars, and yes, want to see them go full Smash Brothers, right? That I think is the biggest thing that hurt them of like, like we always said and beyond, going 99% of the way there, 95% of the way there. Me and Tim have had this conversation on shows. Again, they have this great roster of characters now that's already evolved so much. What would it look like to do that again and do it right?
Yeah. Watch Astrobot fight Aloy, like what does that look like in a PlayStation All-Stars? I think that could be really fun.
And Knack,
and again, and Knack. There you go. All right, yeah. Katie would get Knack in there for you and Barrett right there. You know what I mean? They can be there, just be clowned out all the time. Astrobot, yeah. I want to see Astrobot versus Knack. That's what I'm looking for.
I want to see Knack versus the gangsters from Blood and Truth.
Sure. Okay, that's a good one too. That's a good one.
Sackboy, yeah.
Was he in the original?
He was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, here, I think, it's interesting for the argument of a 2021 game. And again, we're talking about how much farther the PlayStation roster has come. And like I talked about in the Astrobot review, and any other time I talk about Astro's Playroom, I talk about the fact that Astro's Playroom was PlayStation realizing what people have actual nostalgia for, where it is so much more than just the characters and the game. It is the system, and it is the controller, and it is the memory card and the memories attached to it, right? Like, I think if you came in with their head screwed on the way it is now about nostalgia, you get a much different PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale that I think could resonate in a way. Pursuit Force won it. Yeah. Especially right now. I don't know if we need a Pursuit Force. Let's go be cops and all this stuff right now, is all cops are bastards and all this other stuff continues to go on, and police reform needs to be something we look at in this country, but I digress.
Yeah. No, I think that all that's on point. And I think also if we're talking about what a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale could look like today versus back in the day, I think it kind of goes back to what you were mentioning with like the conversation of they went 95% of the way there and didn't go the extra 5% in terms of copying Smash. And like, you compare, the question does come up of, do you really want a PlayStation All-Stars when Smash does exist and does have characters that go beyond Nintendo, and they do have cloud and all this stuff? And ideally, with Final Fantasy VII Remake being an exclusive exclusive game on PlayStation currently, can you get cloud in PlayStation All-Stars, and does that become worth it, and all this different stuff?
Sure.
I think there's a way you can do that game that is more contained. You don't have to go after Smash. You go after 100%. Smash in terms of how the gameplay is, in terms of making a solid, fun game, but you don't have to go after Smash in terms of having the biggest roster of all time. Give us your main guys. Give us the ones that you really stand by. Give us a solid 15 characters, and let's start with that and see where it goes. If you can balance that and make that feel like pure fun, I think that could have potential in a way that PlayStation All-Stars original kind of came and went, because it tried to do it went for it in ways that it probably shouldn't have went for it, and also didn't have the roster to back it up at the time. I don't think.
I 100% agree with you too, and I think like you're talking about fighting Smash, which is obviously a conversation that would happen of, does this need to exist? Why does it exist? Yada yada. But I think it's also important that we're talking about round one of a 64 game tournament, right? So right now, leave Smash out of the mind. It's arguing about Pursuit Force, right?
Yeah.
And I think as we go on, that is what it becomes. This more. And not that I'm trying to silence you. I think it's just interesting for the arguments of how we phrase it, because I think it leads into the next matchup. Number 5 Warhawk versus number 12 Cool Borders. I adore Warhawk, as you know. Like, again, a game that this is like Warhawk for me will always be something I think we probably all take for granted now, even though I guess you could tell me more. You've now been active full time in the industry for a year, but like Warhawk will always be crazy to me because when I started at IGN, that was like the first thing we were playing on, or I played on my test unit where they were doing Warhawk Wednesdays or whatever it was, where we all had the early executable. We would go on and be able to play for 2 hours. And I remember having so much fun with that game and then getting to release and loving that game so much. The problem I have with giving it a rubber stamp to getting it through right now is the fact of, what does Sony need to be doing that? And if you're not familiar with Warhawk, I probably should explain a bit more. Sorry. It was PlayStation 3 game, multiplayer game. The idea was you were in a giant, a skirmish with everybody. And so you were, a third person shooter kind of thing where you were running around on the ground, but then you could take over tanks. And then you could also fly Warhawks were planes or whatever that you would go. So like, I was never good at flying. So I remember Jeff Haynes would always be up in the air. I'd always be on the ground. I'd always try to take over a tank. And then it would always be like capture the flag and stuff like that. Amazing, great times. But in 2021, as I've often argued, does PlayStation need to worry about building their own multiplayer only suite?
I mean, more than Cool Borders, yeah. I hear everything you're saying, and I think you're absolutely correct that does become an undertaking for PlayStation. And what are the chances for success for a Warhawk, right? Like, what does Sony have it in them to really invest in that type of game the way that it needs to be invested in order to keep up that audience? And I wouldn't necessarily have the full confidence in that project, but I do think a Warhawk game being announced is more exciting and has more potential than a Cool Borders. Even though Cool Borders is cool.
You say that, but like you're the one who's all nerding out about the Ubisoft one. What's the Ubisoft Extreme Sports?
Yeah, Riders Republic.
Yeah,
but like, I actually recently had this conversation with the homie Youssef from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I was having a conversation actually with a few Ubisoft folks, and they were like, "So you're excited for Riders Republic, but you didn't really enjoy Steep that much." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't really enjoy Steep that much." But something about Riders Republic sticks with me, and I think part of that, and this is gonna sound insane, but like part of that is the fact that it's not a downhill snow game. Like, I like SSX because of how arcadey it is.
Sure.
That being translated to something that's more of a simi experience for some reason just doesn't strike me nearly as fun. And so Cool Borders, as I understand it, way more arcadey than Steep at the very least.
Sure, fair.
Yeah, but well, actually, no. Now that you mention it, we don't really have that from anywhere else now, like an arcade downhill sports game.
Yeah, and that's the thing of like, does it? But then, huh?
That's a good point. Yeah.
If you're fine with that, I say we turn it over to the chat. Give them a chance, because the thing is, I mean, I feel like neither of these are going to win. Neither of these are going to the finals. But it is what would you rather have, ladies and gentlemen? A awesome new Warhawk, or would you rather have a awesome new Cool Borders?
I think my argument against Cool Borders is I'd rather just have SSX. Like that's the game I'd look forward to in that way. Where if they announce new Cool Borders, I'd be like, all right, fun. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if this is fun. But SSX is where I get the excitement from, because I think that's the franchise in terms of the downhill snowboarding games that really capture people and get people in it. Warhawk, even though I mentioned that, like, I don't know how much faith I would have in Sony to really double down on a multiplayer living, breathing experience. I think that is something that the catalog could use. Like, sure. I think that's something that if they were able to pull that off, could be a cool staple in terms of, hey, this is the thing that PlayStation fans are into. It's flying. It's all the things you love about the original Warhawk, but back again and done in a way that feels contemporary. And we're doing live updates, and we're doing Warhawk seasons. The first season is gonna be Warhawk Season of the Flight. Second season Warhawk
free to play. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like,
free to play. Yeah.
I would be way more excited for Warhawk. And by the way, obviously, hopefully you see it in the live chat there for YouTube. The poll is live. I would be more excited for Warhawk on the lineage of it, on something I would want to play, right? It's the same thing of like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered came out, right? awesome. I'm glad that's there for people. That was never my jam, so I'm not even gonna, touch it. And so it's the same thing here where cool borders, and even if you want to toss in SSX, like played SSX at PS2 launch, enjoyed myself, but whatever. And like cool borders never spoke to me. Warhawk is an awesome idea. It's an interesting thing. I think you're right. If it was an ongoing game as service for Sony, if it was a free to play model, jump in, then you get Season of the Hawk, as you call it. You got all these different things. There could be something really cool and interesting done there. I think that is the more interesting pick, but I wanted to make sure I didn't throw my weight around early on something I didn't care too much about. We already got SingStar through the first round, so I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty fucking stoked. A lot of people turned off the episode then, but I'm pretty excited about it.
I saw the numbers drop.
No,
wow.
More people actually came in after that.
That's when everybody went to their channels like, yo, we need people in here. Help. We got to stop these people. They're crazy. It looks like Warhawk is going to win this one in a close one. 58% to 42% right now.
Wow.
I will give one final refresh here before we make it official. Yeah, there you go. 58-42. Warhawk is moving on here, so we're gonna put that over here now. Barrett, I sent you. For if you're a visual listener, as we call you, the idea is that we thought we'd do it at the end of every bracket, like round. We'd put up a new updated graphic. I did send you one early, but I think it's as we get into the show here, it's gonna be.
I'll show once we get done with triangle. If you want to send me the triangle one,
I'll do that one. I'll do that one. Cool. Yeah. All right, Warhawk is advanced. Now it's on to who will fight Warhawk. Number 4 seed SOCOM. Number 13 seed Parasite Eve. Paradise Eve. As it came out, I was like, wait, no. You got to go SOCOM here, right?
I mean, how does that speak to your previous argument about Warhawk, though? In terms of like a multiplayer Sony game, how does that fit into the ecosystem? Do you think they would go all in on it?
SOCOM is SOCOM. Like, I think SOCOM is so PlayStation. And I know that so many people love Parasite Eve, and I know that it's there, but I think we're back. I mean, you say my previous argument of Warhawk, right? Like it's my, Parasite Eve is my previous argument of Legend of Dragoon, where there's just like, all right, cool, there's all these great role-playing games, but like, do you need that one? And I think my thought, I'm very much now in the Sony boardroom as if we were doing this, of if we were going to bring something back, what are you going to bring back? And I know that SOCOM could get the audience to pop at a PSX in a way Parasite Eve wouldn't. People would pop for Parasite Eve, but SOCOM is beloved and missed.
I think it's how you present it, because I think I could see a reveal trailer for a Parasite Eve reboot that would knock people back, because Parasite Eve was this Resident Evil inspired-ish game from Square that did have those JRPG elements to it. And if you're able to do that and pull it off and make it feel like something wholly original in a way that, you talk about, like, we have JRPGs, right? We have Final Fantasy, we have all these different games. A Parasite Eve game reintroduced could feel like something that is unique and something that is new and fresh in that same genre in a way that I think could get people excited. And I would be excited to see. Though I am with you that SOCOM also has a huge audience to it that would probably that would ride and die and be excited about that announcement.
And I think, but it's hilarious if you look right now at the live chat. The Lou says a new SOCOM would blow people's minds. Immediately after that is Bander SN. No one is getting off their seat for SOCOM. Like, you either fucking love SOCOM or you're like, I don't give a shit about SOCOM. And I saw it earlier go by. I think is a good point. Somebody's like, SOCOM's the better Ghost Recon. And Ubisoft has found some success with that, but Breakpoint was the last one, right? Where it kind of just floundered and people didn't want it. I think it might be because it came out too quickly after the last one, which was Ghost Recon Wildlands. Like, I feel like they were too close to each other to really give steam to let it breathe or whatever. But again, as we're talking about resurrecting something, I think for the PlayStation audience, SOCOM is the brand that you'd want to see resurrected. But I'm willing to go. I'm voting SOCOM. If you go Parasite Eve, we can go to the chat.
I'm split, because these are two franchises that I'm not like diehard for either of them.
100%. Let's go to the chat do it then.
Yeah, let's go to chat. I want to see,
because I think you make a great point of, like, I can see where a really well done I guess that's an interesting one. I'm not changing my vote, but what you just did of, like, you could reintroduce it or introduce it in a different way that would get people, do the supernatural thing. What you pitched for a new Parasite Eve got me excited to play that Parasite Eve. When I start pitching SOCOMs, I'm like, I still don't want to play this SOCOM.
Because I just imagine watching that E3 and it being like this mysterious trailer, and like there are jump scares and horror, and people are like, what the fuck is this? And then you realize it's a JRPG. Something about that has me very excited in a way
you're nailing it. That you're selling this. Blessing, leave us and go work for PlayStation.
PlayStation, you have my number. You probably don't, but I can give you my number. Hey, I know you're listening to this. Where like SOCOM, I feel like if I was to pitch a new SOCOM, it would sound like games that we already have from Ubisoft.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so it's live in the chat right now. Early votes are coming in right now. I mean, the early election results. Parasite Eve is ahead, 57 to 43 right now, as the votes continue to roll on in here. So yeah.
The interesting thing for this conversation too, and why I really like this bracket is it's a conversation of what's better and what's more hype versus what has potential. Because if I was to vote on this based on what game is better or what game has more excitement behind it or had more excitement behind it, I think I would easily go SOCOM. Like SOCOM is a game that I hear people talk about way more than Parasite Eve. And SOCOM is a game that I assume like also reviewed better. It's been forever, and so I couldn't really tell you for sure. But I assume SOCOM probably reviewed pretty well comparatively to Parasite Eve. But if you're going to reintroduce one of these games today, the potential for Parasite Eve gets me excited.
I agree with that 100%, and so does the chat. Parasite Eve has run away with it 62 to 38% there. So Parasite Eve moving on to fight Warhawk in the second round of the triangle bracket. Now we move to number 3, Jet Moto versus number 14, Kessen.
Let me tell you.
You keep me on my toes, Bless. What are you going to say here? I'm interested to see what you say here.
I watched a few YouTube reviews of Kessen because I don't think I'd ever heard of Kessen before this. And my vote is Jet Moto. It doesn't seem appealing at all.
I see somebody, wait, I can name names. Paul in the chat says, what is Kessen? Let me read the description from Wikipedia. Kessen is a real-time tactics video game produced by Koei and published by Electronic Arts. It was a launch game for the PlayStation 2 in Japan and North America. It was initially the only real-time war game available for the PS2. If you are of age, I think if you look at when I saw Kessen on the bracket, I was like, "What?" And then when I saw the box art, I was like, "Oh, I remember Kessen. I remember Kessen. That was a rental, I think." Back
thing, you know.
Like I mean, like
probably really loves this game.
It's the one where you look at the cover of it, and you're like, "Oh man, this looks a lot like Onimusha," but it's not Onimusha. Like that's not what you're getting. So save all of it for Onimusha. Don't worry about it. I agree. Jet Moto and a landslide. Get it out of here. Nobody wants that. Then we go to number 6, Motorstorm versus number 11, Spyro.
I hate that this is the first round matchup. Because this hurts me.
Yeah.
Because I really, really loved Spyro on the PS1. Like I thought, specifically Spyro 3, the one where you had like the skateboarding level. That was always the funnest shit to me as a kid. I used to play that all the time.
Yeah.
Motorstorm, also a very fun game. That like my memories of Motorstorm are one playing that at a friend's house and being like, yo, this is like just Burnout, but like off-road and more open courses, which I totally dig. But then also playing that game all the time at Best Buys at demo kiosks, because that was the one game that every store for some reason was demoing when it came to the PS3. And I remember every time playing that game, I'd be like, man, the PS3 is off the chain. Like this new hardware is really getting it done. This is amazing. This is difficult for me. I want to know where your head's at.
I look at the chat and I see so many people. Spyro, Griffin Fennel, Spyro, move on. Bander SN, Spyro, done. I always liked Motorstorm more. And it is that thing. I don't like racing games, period. Like I don't like, but Motorstorm was fun. Motorstorm Apocalypse, even though it came out at a bad time and got pushed around because of the earthquake, like was a blast to play. And it was fun to go through. And I was into it. I liked the jumps. I liked the things you were doing. I loved Motorstorm, but it is that thing of
what would be more successful.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Barrett. And it's like, does PlayStation have a Forza Horizon, right? No. Like we can point to some other third-party stuff, right? Project Cars is kind of like that, isn't it? Project Cars is on PlayStation, right? I'm not a racing guy, you know that.
Project Cars is on race. Is on race station.
Is on racing.
But also, I wouldn't put Project Cars in that category. Project Cars, I feel like is more simmy than something like Motorstorm or Forza Horizon. But I see where you're coming from.
But it's also like, is there an appetite for a Motorstorm in 2021?
No,
exactly. And I think there is an appetite for Spyro, as you know, the collection shows, and then of course the fact that like you see Crash and how well he's done.
If there was an appetite for Motorstorm, Onrush would have been successful, and Onrush wasn't. And so like Spyro, a game called Spyro 4 or whatever they would call it to let people know that this is the follow-up to the Spyros you love, would be very successful. and I'd be super into it. My pick is Spyro.
Yeah, I think you got to go Spyro here. My heart wants Motorstorm, but my head, as we sit here in the PlayStation boardroom, it's us, it's Herman, Shuhei's over there, Scott Rhodey just walked past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Shannon Studd still called in just to wish us luck, even though she doesn't work at PlayStation anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Corey Barlog's outside, we're pelting him with eggs. Like, here at PlayStation HQ, figuring out a game that should go to 2021, I'm voting Spyro as well. But I love you, Motorstorm, and I'm sorry. Triangle bracket, we're almost done with it. Your final matchup, your final 4 matchup to get to the next one. Number 7, Wild Arms versus number 10, Invisibles. We're going Wild Arms here. There you go, JRPG folk. You know what I mean? You want your, there you go. You want something to get Wild Arms. Invisibles, I mean, a predecessor to Pokemon Go. You know what I mean? It was a cool thing.
That's a way to describe it.
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I wasn't wrong, right?
You're
You gotta use
not
your
wrong.
PSP camera, then your Vita camera, catch these damn Invisibles all over the goddamn place. Go do what you gotta do.
I don't know why I did this. I sent myself a link to the trailer for Invisibles that I'm gonna send to Barrett on Slack.
Oh, I'm down to watch this.
I forget why I sent it to myself so that we can watch on this episode, but that tells me that
again, Invisibles, thank you for showing up. We're sorry just to broom you immediately to the curb. You are the least contested vote, but yeah, let's watch 1 minute 40 to remember Invisibles if you don't remember it. Now, is this PSP or is this Vita?
This is PSP. I want to say. Yeah, go ahead and click play, Barrett. But you're totally not wrong in terms of it being like a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, predecessor.
Go.
I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it.
No, I can't hear.
Yeah, we don't hear it.
Yeah, I really don't need it though.
Fantastic.
As we watch these kids with their PSPs and add on camera
for it too. Jesus.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was the VO. But I remember watching this and it putting me in a place and time.
Right?
Like this is so 2009 to me in a way that I can really dig.
And you want to talk about PlayStation just being ahead of the curve?
Wait, that was when this came from.
It was probably
the
PSP
was more like mid 2000s.
No,
the Vita came out.
And they're using the redesigned PSP, so no, he's right on the money about timing wise. Probably 2009. Yeah, but I mean, you talk about just ahead of their time. You know what I mean? In the same way the Vita crawled so the Switch could fly. That's the same thing here. Invisibles crawled so Pokemon Go.
These kids have never played a video game in their life the way that they're pulled in this thing.
It was a different time. Video games weren't as popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like it is now. Your final match here of the triangle bracket is number 2 Dark Cloud versus number 15 War of the Monsters.
It's Dark Cloud. It's
Dark Cloud again. We're not even going to bother arguing.
I'm sorry, War of the Monsters.
Thank you for coming. You'll get a lovely parting gift
War of the Monsters. That was like the Godzilla fighting game, right?
Yeah. Dark Cloud. Put that back in there. Control this. All right, then. Hold on. I'm going to save this and send it over to Barrett so everybody can get the thing here. Greg Brackett. This is going to be 02 Barrett. Do you want them as Photoshops or JPEGs?
JPEGs, please.
Get it.
I remember playing War of the Monsters at a friend's house and being blown away by it. I was super into the idea of this giant monster fighting game. I love that game, but not enough to have it stand a chance against
disrespect the Dark Cloud like that. No way. All right, so Barrett has it. As he pulls that up, I'll just give you a quick read through. So when we come back to the triangle bracket, we're going to see SingStar face off against PlayStation All Stars, Warhawk versus Parasite Eve, Jetmoto versus Spyro, Wild Arms versus Dark Cloud. And now we're getting into the good matches. The first round is when you hopefully have a Cinderella story like SingStar come in, clowning everybody out. Nobody saw it coming. But as we get moving into the next round, that's when things really start get cooking over here.
Oh, yeah.
Bless, do you want to go square, circle, or cross for the next one?
Ooh, let's go square.
All right, we're going to square. Then your matchups look like this. It's going to be number 1 Wipeout versus number 16 Primal. Number 8 White Knight Chronicles versus number 9 Resistance. Number 5 Toomba versus number 12 Zero Divide. Number 4 Kinetica versus number 13 Xenosaga. Number 3 Heavenly Sword versus number 14 Freedom Arms. Number 6 Jumping Flash versus number 11 Lair. Number 7 Destruction Derby versus number 10 Time Crisis. Number 2 Soul Sacrifice versus number 15 Onimusha.
How's that number 15?
I don't know.
You're lower on the thing,
again.
Right?
I think it was as SD. Hold on, my documents are all screwed up. Remember, no, I know that part. He said, remember, the rankings are based on the average Metacritic user score for any of the games in the franchise. It's definitely not scientific since some of the older games don't have as many or any user reviews. So you figure that played
Okay.
into it at some point, and that's where we got into it. But who really knows? Again, we're all having fun. Nobody yelling at anybody, especially you, Blessing. Okay,
I'm not
Nobody
yelling.
yell at Blessing.
I'll
Yeah.
yell. I'll do it.
I know you will, Barrett. Number 1 Wipeout versus number 16 Primal.
It's Wipeout, though. Going back and watching gameplay of Primal, I could see them bringing back that game and it being something fun, but it's gotta go Wipeout.
Yeah, I don't think it's, no. I hear you. It could be, but no. Wipeout.
They
And
can
again,
have-
Wipeout's feeling that arcade racy, thing we were talking about. I don't think Wipeout's going deep into the bracket here, but
Didn't
I
we
would
just
say
do a
Wipeout.
Wipeout though? Wasn't there a Wipeout this last gen, or am I thinking of like a remastered?
we
core?
got, if you remember, there was the Wipeout inside of Dreams, and then there might
was
have
that?
been a collection.
There was a remastered or remake of Wipeout because I remember playing it from PS Plus or something like that.
That does sound familiar. Yeah.
But I guess that wouldn't count for what we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
Wipeout Omega Collection is what you're talking
That's
about.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't count though, right?
No, I mean if we're not counting Spyro trilogy, then
Yeah, you're fine. Moving on then, number 8 White Knight Chronicles versus number 9 Resistance.
I'm going Resistance.
You have to go Resistance. Again, Thank you for coming. I understand. I know the audience for White Knight Chronicles. I remember the reviews. I remember covering it at IGN. But seriously, Resistance is one of those ones I know how many people demand more Resistance. They demand more Resistance. They want to know what's going out there. You got to put it there. Number 5, Toomba versus number 12, Zero Divide.
Now, Greg,
Is
do
it
you know
really
Zero
Toomba?
Divide?
Because it's only 1-0. That always confused me.
Isn't that how you say it? Is there a Tomba? No, it's Toomba, isn't it?
I always said
No,
Toomba.
'Cause it's like
I've
Tomb-
only
like
heard
Tomb Raider.
Toomba, but it's all
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so.
Getting in my head about it. I was scared
Yeah.
about that. You know what I mean? What were you gonna ask me about Zero Divide?
Do you know about Zero Divide?
I don't know. If I'm being honest, I did. I mean, I looked at all this stuff before we played the game or before we started the bracket. So no, I do not remember Zero Divide, this PlayStation fighter here. Of
Yeah, no, it's an old
robots
PlayStation
and
fighting game for the PS1 where it was all like non-humanoid robot characters fighting. Game not good. Not good at all.
yeah. So I don't think you have to
So,
worry about
it's
Toomba.
pretty
Go
easy.
get him. Yeah. Kinetica versus Xenosaga. This is number 4 Kinetica versus number 13 Xenosaga.
Fun fact, I know you probably know this, Greg, but Kinetica, Santa Monica Studios, I believe it's their first game.
First game, yeah, 100%, and that's why I think it's got to go.
Damn.
You got to keep it. You got to come on. Your history there. Xenosaga. Does anybody care? Like, I don't care about Xenosaga. So that's also part of this, right? And again, neither of these games are getting far. So why waste my breath on it?
Yeah, no, this is one of those ones that I have no
You have no horse in the race.
horse in the
If
race.
you want, we can toss it in the chat. I don't care.
Let's
Royal
talk-
Martin says I care. Royal Martin says I care, but I love both of them. Well, now, you know what? Royal Martin, make your argument in chat right now as I put it in there. So
Xenosaga is Monolith Soft, who does Xenoblade Chronicles. Is there a connection, chat? Tell me, is there a connection between Xenosaga and Xenoblade Chronicles? Because all these Xeno games always confuse me because there's a lot of them. There's Xenogears, Xenosaga, Xenoblade.
the poll is in the chat right now. Go ahead and get in there. Bander SN says yes. Yes, there is a connection.
And then that makes it like a living franchise, right? You know?
I mean, we're here. We're here already. I'm not going to disqualify them. And again, I doubt that they make it out of if Toomba doesn't get him next time or Tomba, then I think they're not getting out from Wipeout or Resistance. So don't worry about it. We're off to the races here. For a second there, it was neck and neck. Xenosaga pulling ahead right now.
There's a connection, but it's downplayed, is what Royal Martin says. And then Cfron here says, pretty sure Blade is a spiritual successor. So I'll let it slide.
It's looking like Xenosaga is taking it with the votes right now, 65 to 35% right now. So I think you're ready to. Yeah, there's no comeback right now. The Kinetica getting buried by Xenosaga. So there you go. Xenosaga rolls on to the next part to fight Toomba. Then we get to an interesting one. Number 3, Heavenly Sword versus number 14, Freedom Wars.
That's a fight.
That is a fight and a half right there.
I mean, I feel like to most people, it's not a fight. Most people are going Heavenly Sword, to be clear.
And that's because a lot of people
it's
didn't fucking play Vita games because they're cowards and didn't want to see it. Again, the Vita crawled so the Switch could fly. Ain't that right, Jen? Yeah. So we understand what's going on here. All right. It's Freedom Wars, by a mile. All right, by a mile.
Heavenly Sword.
Freedom
Wars had a shot.
I didn't know Jen was in the room, so I thought you wanted me to pretend to be Jen for a second, and I was really scared.
I appreciate that. I like that you thought that's what you needed to do, and you were ready to do it if you need to. All right, then make your case for Heavenly Sword, then I'll make my case for Freedom Wars.
Team Ninja, man. Or not Team Ninja, sorry. Ninja Theory, man. You know, they
a Microsoft studio.
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder if that game could even happen anymore, huh? Oh, so now we're just taking it in name only, and it's okay, interesting.
Well, actually, you make a good point, because we are talking about first party PlayStation franchises coming back, and Heavenly Sword is a Ninja Theory game, which theoretically would mean it could be an Xbox game. So the actual like process of getting this being made on PlayStation, very difficult and probably impossible. But
we can ignore all that
in the world where it is. I don't know, man. Heavenly Sword just seems like a fun game. I actually haven't played Heavenly Sword. That's one that
Here's my problem with Heavenly Sword.
Like, that game looks really fun.
Heavenly Sword is a really fun game. It definitely deserved a sequel. It's a heartbreaker. It never got a sequel. It should have had that, right? But the thing about Heavenly Sword is that I think it would get overlooked in the same way it got overlooked the first time around, because it was so similar to God of War. And that's one of the reasons people looked at it and were like, oh, it's just Kratos. It's just female Kratos. She's doing this kind of thing. And granted, again, the game was great and they could do more with it and all this stuff. But we have a God of War. We already have that kind of game right now. And if you wanted an action-y game like that, there's plenty of those third party, right? Freedom Wars, something truly unique. You have to go into the panopticon. You have to go into the panopticon, all right? Work years off your sentence. Team up with other people, other criminals, right? To get out. You have a little cute teddy bear to talk to you. You got to go through and do all this stuff. You got to go fight these things. You got to hack off their different things. You got a thorn. You're shooting. But Monster Hunter is old. That's old timey, blessing. That's like, oh man, look at this. It's all happening in some there's elks and this is dinosaurs, right? This was the future. We had barcodes. You could change your look. You could change your colors. You were playing online. It was ahead of its time on the PlayStation Vita. It deserves more. It deserves more than it got, motherfuckers.
I would like to see Ninja Theory's take on a modern Heavenly Sword. Even though
Watkins Jr., it's Monster Hunter with guns, so it's better. Lol, exactly.
Hey, that's fair point. I understand. I understand where that energy comes from.
Did Monster Hunter not have guns?
Barrett, stay out of this. I didn't have it didn't have guns like these kind of guns. You're using AR stuff. I think Monster Hunter had single shot shit or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like the back and forth for Ninja Theory would look like with Hellblade and Heavenly Sword, because it's literally called Hellblade, right? Which is the opposite title for Heavenly Sword. And I feel like if they're to go back to that title in 2021, it probably would take a different form that isn't just God of War. It would look it would either be something that stands beside Hellblade, or it'd be something that is the complete opposite, and they just stand by each other in terms of theme and being a Ninja Theory game, if you know what I mean. It's a difficult argument to make though on a PlayStation podcast, because my whole idea for why I'd want Heavenly Sword to win would be I want to see what Ninja Theory would do, but that doesn't really fall in line.
You see what they would do. They do Hellblade, send you a sacrifice, right? We saw what they would do. And the chat is with me. The poll is out. It's 60-40 right now.
Okay.
It seems like it's slowed down. Freedom Wars does seem to be the winner. I'm going to write it in there. Then I'll look, and then I will shut it and we'll walk away. But Freedom Wars looking good right now. Freedom is a funny word when you spell it out. That doesn't look right, but it is. Freedom Wars is moving on. Congratulations, everybody, for making the right choice. Blessing, you can go to hell. Number 6, Jumping Flash versus number 11, Lair. Two just terrible games. Do either of them need to come back?
Can we both lose? Can we make them both lose somehow?
What I'll do is I'll do this. I'll do this. As the man who infamously gave Lair 4.9, many people say I closed Factor 5, this developer of it, after the fact. I would rather see a Lair than a Jumping Flash, because there aren't enough games where I command a dragon and I'm a person that I'd ride the dragon and I do it. You could tell a really cool story with that, where you have a dragon army and you're doing all these different things. Jumping Flash is just this dumb frog jumping around.
Yeah, no, Jumping Flash just seems like an overall bad game. I'm surprised they made it this high in the seeds.
Nobody knows what
seems like a mistake
SD Infected is doing over there, but he did it, and that's enough of that. So you're saying Lair 2 then?
Yeah, I'll say Lair also.
All right. Our next matchup is Destruction Derby versus Time Crisis?
I personally would go Time Crisis, though I feel like I don't know the argument I would make for bringing back a Time Crisis. Actually, no, I do know the argument I would make. That'd be a great
PlayStation
VR
VR.
game. Yeah,
Yep.
bring back Time Crisis, make it a VR game.
100%. You crushed it. I'm not looking ahead. I know I've obviously read through it and looked at it. I know Twisted Metal is on the other side. We're going to get to Twisted Metal, but that's where like Destruction Derby, well, granted a little bit apples and oranges, but there's close enough. Like the crazy smashing cars into each other and fighting kind of thing. I'd be looking for that. And Time Crisis 100% as a PlayStation
You also
VR.
got, what's the game that's about to be free on PS Plus next month? Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
And your final one in the square bracket is number 2, Soul Sacrifice, number 15 versus number 15, Onimusha. I believe on numbers, this is another upset. Again, Soul Sacrifice being a PlayStation Vita game that people did dig, but you got to go Onimusha. A game people are still, to this day, people are yelling for it. Tim yells for it all the time. Like, I never hear people talk about they want another Soul Sacrifice.
Soul Sacrifice, yeah.
Yeah.
My vote be
taking away from it, And I think Soul Sacrifice, in the chat right now, Arkwing says Soul Sacrifice was okay. One of the reasons I think we all got behind Soul Sacrifice at launch or whatever of it was because, hey, guess what? Like, this is a pretty good PlayStation VR or a Vita game. You know what I mean? It's something that we aren't getting somewhere else. Whereas I feel now you're talking about PlayStation 5, you're talking about what else you want to put out there. I don't think you need to be worrying about all that business.
I'm with you.
All right, Baron, I'm sending you then number 3 over here. You know what I mean? My recent updated thing.
You,
boom. There it is, baby. While you pull that up, I will now read through who is advanced. You will now see in round 2 of the square bracket, Wipeout versus Resistance, Toomba versus Xenosaga, Freedom Wars versus Lair, Time Crisis versus Onimusha. I'm telling you, that second round is where it gets exciting. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that one. However, we still have a whole side of the bracket to go through. We are in for a long show, but it'll start rolling here in a second. I'm just going to go to Circle. All right, Bless. So
go for it.
Your Circle matchups look like this. Number 1, Tearaway versus number 16, Clock Tower. Number 8, Mod Nation Racers versus number 9, The Getaway. Number 5, Sly Cooper versus number 12, Mr. Mosquito. Number 4, G Police versus number 13, Alundra. Number 3, Patapon versus Champions of Norath, number 14. Number 6, Twisted Metal versus number 11, Parappa the Rapper. Number 7, The Mark of Kree versus number 10, Ark the Lad. And number 2, Colony Wars versus number 15, Jade Cocoon. Thank you, Jen. Are you ready? Blessing, Adeoye Jr.
I don't know if I am, honestly.
This is a crazier bracket in a couple head scratching ways.
This is a weird one,
but I think the first one's easy. Tearaway versus Clock Tower.
Tearaway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. We're there. That a great media molecule game, and not a great one. Interesting ideas. I didn't love Tearaway, but I respected what it was going for, and I know people loved it, and so I'd rather see what you could do with that than try to revive Clock Tower. I'd rather see that get that goal. Number 8, Mod Nation Racers versus number 9, The Getaway. This I hate. I hate this matchup because I love both these games.
What was the pitch for Mod Nation Racers again? That was basically like Little Big Planet karting, right?
It was the one before that. They basically reskinned it and stripped away a bunch of features for Little Big Planet karting.
Gotcha.
If I can have the floor for 1 second.
Go for it.
I, with every fiber of my fucking being, want to say Mod Nation Racers. I would love another Mod Nation Racers. United Front Games. I know you've all been spread to the 4 corners of the earth now, but you killed it with Mod Nation Racers. I loved that game. The load times were too long. We don't even talk about it. But creating Iron Man and the Ecto-1 and myself and all the different things was beautiful, amazing. I loved it. The Getaway would be so perfect for what PlayStation is right now. When you talk about PlayStation, what do we always talk about? We talk about these narrative experiences, these single player stories you can't get anywhere else, this amazing gameplay. To go do The Getaway and take it up a notch. And I know, London studio, obviously doing so much VR stuff now, Blood and Truth, yada, yada, yada. Still, The Getaway at the time got compared so much to GTA and all these different things they were doing. If you were to come out and do The Getaway now, we're doing The Getaway, PlayStation 5, it is going to be this, dark, gritty, crime drama. You know what I mean? It's going to be the best part. Why am I struggling? It's going to be the best parts of like I want to say Fast and Furious, but that's not the tone, obviously, right? But it's going to be that of stealing cars and having that criminal underground and doing all these things. And then on top of that, you're going to have the writing and the performances and the mocap and everything else you get from a Naughty Dog game, giving you the getaway kind of stories set over in London, doing these crazy things.
I think you sold me. Like, honestly, London Studio coming off of Blood and Truth. I think I talked about this last week or the week before, that I want to see them get a big break that is outside of VR, whether that be with Lucasfilm Games, right? Give them a Star Wars game or something.
Yeah.
I think the getaway would fit in line with what Sony first party is today. And I also think that would fit the it's not a hole that exists right now, but Uncharted kind of being the game that's a bit sunsetted with Lost Legacy. We'll probably see Uncharted soon, I imagine, with the new studio and all that stuff. But doing away with that, the getaway could come through and fill that hole for this is a game in a modern setting that is crime and action, and it is like this blockbuster game from London Studio. I think that could be fantastic. I think that sounds fun, even though I was going to make the argument for Mod Nation Racers, because that just sounds like a fun game to revive for the customability of it. Like, Mod Nation Racers, I assume you could also make tracks and stuff. If I remember,
you made tracks, you made cars, you made everything. Yeah,
I remember watching commercials for that game and always wanted to play it, but never actually getting it. That sounds like it could be a fun time, but that is more so I would want that game sort of thing versus what game are we going to resurrect here to like be.
I would love that kind of creative kart racer, but I do think just in what PlayStation is, right?
Yeah.
That's where it should be.
And we also got Dreams, and people are making kart races and Dreams and stuff, which kind of fills that a little bit. I'm gonna go the getaway. You sold me.
Yay! Next matchup is number 5 Sly Cooper versus number 12 Mr. Mosquito. This is Sly Cooper in a landslide, right?
Sly Cooper, yeah.
Mr. Mosquito, a cute, crazy, weird, perverted, whatever. Whatever. You're a mosquito flying around sucking blood out of people. Like, it's a quirky idea that I would love to see come out and be. But I mean, if you're putting it up against Sly, let's get more Sly. Come on.
Yeah,
come on. Number 4, G Police. Number 13, Alundra.
Is G Police anything like G-Force?
The game G-Force? I mean, G Police. It was a flight simulator.
G-Force was a movie about guinea pigs.
No, it is not. I thought you were forgetting. I thought there was a game I was forgetting. I do remember the G-Force guinea pig movie. I do remember it.
What is the game on N64? That's the racing game. Chat, help me out, because I thought that's what you're talking about. G-Force.
I'm pretty sure there was a G-Force game based off of the movie that's about guinea pigs. Is that in here?
I'm thinking of Extreme G.
Okay. I'm saying G Police. Again, these are two games that I have absolutely no lineage with, but G Police is you're flying around fighting things. It's like you're in the combat flight simulator kind of thing, whatever. That's different. We don't have anything like that on the list so far. Whereas Alundra Ride is what? Action adventure video game. Okay. No love for it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out what Alundra is as we talk, because that's not one that I'm too familiar with. And I would just go G Police looking at Alundra. Even though Alundra does give me it gives me that old school PS1 RPG vibe, the Square games a little bit.
I understand that, yeah.
Warm and fuzzy because of that, but to our earlier conversation, do we want just another one of those?
I mean, we can throw it to the chat if you want, but I don't even know how much love there is either way for it. But I'm seeing people have opinions, so I'll toss it in there.
G-Force is on sale on Steam. If
don't buy it.
To play G-Force.
don't do that. All right, I'm making the poll for
G. I'll take Extreme G over either of these.
Chat, it is your time to shine. The straw poll is there for Alundra versus G Police. Sound off. I'm getting my auto results right now. G Police in an early lead. Oh, but it's starting to get chipped away at. It's a close one. A lot of people don't remember these games.
Also, if you want to get G-Force on Steam for $4.34.
Nobody wants G-Force. Stop it. Stop selling G-Force to people. While people vote on that, it is in the chat right now. Let's move on. Number 3, Patapon versus number 14, Champions of Norath.
I already know how this is going to go.
All right, then Patapon advances, and we don't have to argue about it. Next one is Twisted Metal number 6 versus number 11, Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, here we go.
This one is a tough one.
Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, if I'm being realistic for what this bracket is us talking about Resurrection and what would make a great PlayStation franchise, right? What would be a banger?
Yeah. What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know where you're going. I love it. I don't know which way you're gonna go.
Twisted Metal, right? Like, what does a modern rebooted Parappa the Rapper look like? Like, that game was great for the PS1 era because it was this quirky, fun rhythm game that we all have memories of. I don't know what that game looks like in 2021. You know, like, do people want to play that type of game? Is that going to be the banger you're going to produce as PlayStation?
I want it to be.
I mean, I'm with you too. I want it to be.
I mean, again, both these games I'd love to see a 2021 version of and what it is, but like, I feel Twisted Metal had its shot on PS3, and it just didn't connect.
But that was different, right? Like, that wasn't the Twisted Metal we know and love.
I mean, it was from the creators of Twisted Metal, the people who made Twisted Metal, you know and love.
We know better than that. No,
it's just one of those things of like, Twisted Metal was a really cool concept back at the PS1.
Yeah,
like does that is it really enough for something today? And here's my other thing on the other side though, is like same with Parappa the Rapper. It's like it was a really cool, fun thing back when it came out. Does it really have enough to live in the 2021 space?
My thing is,
I say you kill both of them.
They could have called Destruction All Stars Twisted Metal and changed a few things about it, and you know, like they would have been able to put it out as a Twisted Metal game.
Sure.
Like, I think there's potential if you wanted to make a Twisted Metal game because we have those types of games. It wouldn't be a AAA. I don't think it'd be a AAA like huge PlayStation release, right? But I do think it could be something along the lines of a Rocket League or something of that tier. Where,
but here's the thing: is you just said it. You just said you already pretty much have it. Destruction All Stars. You pretty much have a Twisted Metal.
Yeah, but like I feel like you call that game Twisted Metal, people would be more excited about it than people are.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and so just bring back Twisted Metal.
But now they have Destruction All Stars. You don't need to worry about Twisted Metal.
But do we want to bring back Parappa the Rapper?
I would love to see a take on Parappa the Rapper.
Didn't they try to bring him back like a couple of years?
They did the PS1 classic thing where they put it out, or the remaster of it. I'm sorry, they remastered it, put it out, and it was the same problem all the rhythm games have, where like TVs are so different now, and trying to get your audio to sync, and like if you use headphones, you're fine. Similar to the Patapon issues, you were fine, but if you did the other thing, you were fucked and stuff like that. I think you got to go to the chat on that one. By the way, the chat has voted Alundra officially defeats G Police to move on. Wow. So Alundra has advanced to fight Sly Cooper, where it will be destroyed and have no chance at winning. Yeah, I think you got to put. I would vote Parappa.
Now, here's my pitch that I might turn myself around with. If Parappa the Rapper was like SingStar, and you are actually performing the songs as opposed to doing the rhythm shit that you were doing on the PS1, I'd be way more into it.
So you're talking about Def Jam Rap Star now.
I am talking about Def Jam Rap Star, which...
Where's that on
I guess
list?
Def Jam Rap Star didn't perform that well, did it?
No. No, it did not. I put it into the chat. Get in there, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us if you want a Parappa or you want a Twisted Metal in 2021. You need to sound off on which one you would actually want to play over the other, so we can have a thing here. And it is neck and neck right now. It is back and forth every time the auto refreshes here.
And two PS1 classic games of their time. It's a good matchup.
It is a good matchup. While the votes are continuing to be cast over there, let's move on. The Mark of Kree versus Ark the Lad.
What is Ark the Lad?
That was another one. Let me get you the official description. That's another classic beloved. Ark the Lad is a tactical role-playing game developed by G-Craft and published by Sony Computer Entertainment exclusively for the PlayStation. It was the best-selling Japanese PlayStation game of 1995 with over 1 million copies sold. The story begins as the young girl Kukuru goes to put out the Flame Scion. As you can tell, this is very much a Greg Miller game. I was all about the Ark the Lad. Big time fan of that one. Was all about it.
For a second, I didn't know you were being sarcastic until the second part of that statement. I was like, wait, was he really into Ark the Lad?
The Mark of Kree is an action-adventure game developed by Sony San Diego and published by Sony Computer Entertainment exclusively for PlayStation 2. The game was followed by The Rise of Kasai, which released in April 2005.
Yeah, Mark of Kree I remember seeing at GameStop stores, and I think I've heard people talk about Mark of Kree, but it's never been one that I've looked into. But based on just word of mouth and looking at both these games, I'd probably go Mark of Kree. But I might just leave it to the chat because I don't have strong opinions on either of these games.
By the way, the chat has decided Twisted Metal will move on to fight Patapon in the next round as to see what it can make the comeback for. And yeah, that's the same thing. I'm right there with you. We'll put it in the chat for Mark of Kree because I lived through both these games being on the shelf and never picked either of them up. So I don't have any kind of allegiance to them, and I don't expect them to make it deep into the thing. So get that in. Mark of Kree, Arc the Lad, bam.
A lot of people in chat like Arc the Lad, though.
Go get him.
A lot of people have nice things to say about Arc the Lad.
Well, then here you go. Here comes the thing. Bam, 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 bam. You got a straw poll right there, ladies and gentlemen, to go make your choice. Blessy and I both defer to you. You know more than us. And then your final one of the circle bracket, number 2 Colony Wars versus number 2 Jade Cocoon. It's got to be Colony Wars by a mile, right?
What's the pitch on Colony Wars?
Thank you for asking, Bless. Colony Wars is a space combat simulator video game for the PlayStation, developed and released by Psygonus in 1997. Players complete space combat missions using pre-selected starfighters equipped with various weapons. The game features multiple paths of missions and outcomes, depending on the player's performance. It was followed by a couple others in the years after.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's good. It's very good. Or it was good at the time. I mean, I don't know how it holds up now, and I don't want to be thrown in my face, but let you know. Back in the day, Colony Wars was. And Jade Cocoon, I don't remember shit about. Do you remember Jade Cocoon?
Like vaguely. Like I don't remember it being like anything sort of like standout.
Yeah. Jade Cocoon, the story of Mayu is a role-playing video game developed by Genkai exclusively for PlayStation. The game combines elements of role-playing video game. We have role-playing video games and virtual pet management. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what? You got me back. I might have to go Jade Cocoon. You said pets. It's the magic word. I love
this. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. No, you're sticking with Colony Wars. Meanwhile, Arc the Lad has won the previous poll here, so I'm putting Arc the Lad into it. Arc the Lad. Blessing,
Greg.
Before we move on to the cross bracket and finish this all up, let me tell you what's happening here in the circle for round 2. It's going to be Tearaway versus the Getaway, Sly Cooper versus Alundra, Patapon versus Twisted Metal, and Arc the Lad versus Colony Wars.
Is Twisted Metal on here twice?
No? Did I screw it up?
Oh, wait.
Patapon versus Twisted Metal, Arc the Lad versus Colony Wars, Sly Cooper versus Alundra.
I was for some reason, I thought you were going on to the next to cross.
No. I was wrapping this up before I go there. Yeah. And while I save this JPEG and send it to Barrett Courtney, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, like everybody watching live right now and voting and making their democratic rights in the PlayStation Nation heard. You can also get the show ad free there. Speaking of ads, Greg Way, let's hear a word from our sponsor. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Okay, so we all know how a VPN protects your privacy and security online, right? Well, I didn't know until recently that it can take your TV watching to the next level. You can use a VPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries. Over the weekend, I have it on good reports that the one and only Cool Greg was using ExpressVPN to binge Rick and Morty on the France Netflix. It was so simple. You fire up the ExpressVPN app, change your location to France, refresh Netflix, and there it is. You're in. See, ExpressVPN hides your IP address and lets you control where you want sites to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 different countries. So just think of all the Netflix libraries you can go through. Love anime? Use ExpressVPN to access Japanese Netflix and be spirited away. But it's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service. Hulu, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, you name it. There are hundreds of VPNs out there, but the reason we use ExpressVPN to watch shows is that it's ridiculously fast. There's never any buffering or lag, and you can stream in HD no problem. ExpressVPN is also compatible with all your devices, phones, media consoles, smart TVs, and more. So you can watch what you want on the go or the big screen wherever you are. If you visit our special link right now, expressvpn.com/kindafunny, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Support the show, watch what you want, and protect yourself at expressvpn.com/kindafunny. Our next sponsor, why, ladies and gentlemen, it's Freshly. Last year was chaotic. This year, let Freshly's chefs take care of your meals a few nights a week and take the pressure off of you. Need help keeping your New Year's resolution to stay in shape and eat right? Then it's fine to get Freshly. Their delicious meals are designed by nutritionists and cooked by chefs, and they make it easy to eat better. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered to your door, no cooking required. Grocery shopping and cooking can be a pain, especially right now. In Freshly, you don't have to worry about any of that. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week, so you can keep your fridge stocked and skip the trip to the store. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, or the chicken pesto bowl. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, and family size. And now our listeners can try Freshly for just $6.16 per meal. Stop searching the internet for healthy food near me every night and start living life freshly. Your meals are always delivered fresh, never frozen, and are ready to heat and enjoy in just 3 minutes, with new meals added each week. Freshly brings the convenience of chef-made, nutritionist-designed classics right to your kitchen. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/kinda. Make eating better your New Year's resolution and get a special limited time offer. Go to freshly.com/kinda for $40 off your first 2 orders. Try Freshly now for a limited time and get $40 off your first 2 orders. Go to freshly.com/kinda to learn more. And our final sponsor of the day, well, it's MeUndies. Let's talk about love. Yep, we're doing it. If there's one thing that got us through this past year, other than that video of Dogface vibing to Fleetwood Mac on TikTok, it's love. And that means getting extra cheesy for Valentine's Day is okay. We'll allow it. Despite everything, we found new ways to match our daily lives together with the ones we love most. That's why MeUndies released their V-Day collection in undies, loungewear, and more, so you and your Valentine can match through it all. Show the special someone how much you care and say those words everyone wants to hear. Match my undies. And if you're single, no problem. Show yourself some love in something that makes you feel amazing, because you deserve that. Of course, you all know I only wear MeUndies. I had underwear that I didn't like that much. I ordered some MeUndies and I said, these are so good. I threw away the rest of the underwear, just bought more MeUndies, and continue to do that to this day. And I wear the lounge pants and everything else. Tim wears the t-shirts. We love MeUndies. MeUndies are made with sustainable, breathable, softer than soft fabric, and are available in a wide range of sizes from extra small to 4XL. MeUndies memberships gives you and your boo a new pair of undies or socks every month. Members get discounted pricing on everything MeUndies makes, as well as early access to major print launches. MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also has their problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. No caveats, no questions. To get 15% off your first order and free shipping, go to MeUndies.com/KFGames. That's MeUndies.com/KFGames. All right, Barrett, you have the latest. We have recap. You can show it to the people, and we moved across the final round 1 here. So it'll be number 1, King's Field versus Legend of Legaia. The next bracket will be number 8, Jack and Daxter versus number 9, Loco Roco. Number 5, Rogue Galaxy versus number 12, Pain. Number 4, Mag versus number 13, Point Blank. Number 3, Medieval versus number 14, Hack. Number 6, Armored Core versus number 11, Ridge Racer. Number 7, Buzz Quiz versus number 10, Ape Escape. And number 2, Siphon Filter versus number 15, Oni. We got
How dare they?
SD Infected, he built the bracket the way he built the bracket. Now we all live in it. We have to just live in the world here and see what happens from here. All right, everybody. So to start, King's Field versus Legend of Legaia. Legaia, whatever.
Legaia. I mean, my inclination would go King's Field, because I think that would probably be developed by From Software.
And honestly, that's the thing about it, right? Is I know passing little about these, you know what I mean? But like the fact that King's Field is a From Software game, I think is the one you'd go with, of letting them get out there and make that and see what that's going to be again.
Yeah. And from what I can tell,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, from what I can tell, you either play as a skeleton or you fight skeletons.
And you're down either way.
Not sure which, but either way, I want to see From Software's take.
Yeah, it's one of. I mean, I know people love Legends of Legaia or whatever, turn-based role-playing game, blah blah blah. But like, obviously, it was never my jam. PlayStation game to go from, and I think right now, again, we're back in the PlayStation boardroom. We're making these decisions right here, like From Software. So you know, I mean, people love them. They love that thing. I think you're going to get way more juice out of that than coming back with this. Also, I want to call out in the chat right now, Sylvester the Slayer, or Sylvester the Slayer pops in and says, I came late to the party. Spyro beat Motorstorm. Yeah, too late. You should have been here on time. Too bad. That's how it's going to go now. Next matchup here on the cross bracket is number 8, Jack and Daxter versus number 9, Loco Roco.
I'm going to let you go first.
Don't jack me on this.
Jack and Daxter.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
I fucking adore Jack and Daxter.
I feel like you were going to be one of those crazy people. Loco Roco.
Yeah, no, that's what I was fully expecting from Greg, knowing the Patapon persona this man puts on.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem, of course, is that Loco Roco is constantly in a fight with Patapon.
Yeah.
People are always arguing which one of those is better. Oh, they loop them together. And I always say, no, Loco Roco sucks. And Patapon is amazing.
Wow.
All right. And Loco Roco doesn't suck. But when you pair things up, I got to fight. I love Jack and Daxter. Jack and Daxter, I adored. So, yeah, I'm totally right there with you. Rogue Galaxy versus Pain. What an interesting pairing this one is, Bless.
I remember Rogue Galaxy. I gotta remind myself.
Rogue Galaxy is an action role-playing video game developed by Level 5 and published by Sony Computer Entertainment on the PlayStation 2. The game was released in Japan in December 2005, in North America in January 2007, and then year blah blah blah. And
we
then
had a conversation about Pain on this podcast.
Yeah,
because now I'm looking it up, and I remember you describing to me what Pain is. But you can go ahead and describe it again.
Pain was a PlayStation 3 game where you launched a man into objects and tried to keep it going, and you got more points as you went, and you tried to keep this kinetic motion going. What I will say here is, as somebody who enjoyed Pain for what it was, and more enjoyed, like, Pain was a literal pain for Sony. It was broken all the time. Things went wrong all the time. It was a constant fiasco about it, but it was a cool enough idea at the time. Rogue Galaxy still looks beautiful to this day.
Oh,
when you look at stuff for Rogue Galaxy, so I'd rather see them do something with Rogue Galaxy than worry about what Pain is, flinging a dude into stuff. Pain would come back and it'd be free to play. You have to microtransaction and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm going Rogue Galaxy.
Mag versus Point Blank.
Gross.
I'm going to
say. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to.
What were you?
Barry, go for it.
I was just making a dumb joke.
Okay.
I want to see what a modern mag looks like, especially now that we live in the age of battle royales and games.
You want to see a massive action game in 2021?
I want to see a massive action game. I think now is, if you're going to bring back mag, now is the perfect time to do it.
I feel, especially as what we're in the boardroom right here. Like I said, Herman, Shu, Shanstad's still on the phone. I got to go mag as well. I think it's just interesting to throw mag at somebody and be like, all right, make a massive action game shooter or whatever, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I'd be is like, Point Blank, yeah, it's this light gun shooter, but like, we've already done Time Crisis. Time Crisis is in the other bracket. We don't, and like, again, if we're trying to do a light gun shooter, whether it's VR or not, I think you're definitely going to want the name recognition of Time Crisis over at Point Blank, which nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, Point Blank VR. Let's get into this.
Yeah. Next up, number 3 Medieval versus number 14 Hack.
Hack.
My apologies.
The nerds will say Hack 100%. I remember having friends back in the day that had a bunch of different PlayStation 2 disc cases with Hack, and I was always confused because I was like, how many of these games are there? Like Hack apparently just goes on and on for forever in terms of the disc. My question is there a sell for Medieval? Because they recently brought it back with the remake, and they must have done that for a reason. I think they see something that we don't see with Medieval.
I think with Medieval, they were chasing oh man, everybody loves Crash. Oh man, everybody loves Spyro. Like, we should get our stuff back out there. And I think they did, but they did it way too close. It was a remaster and it was very much, I remember getting the demo and enjoying myself fine, but then being so much like, yeah, we kept it punishingly hard and the camera being annoying here. Yeah, I'm like, oh, like these aren't, I don't know if I would have done that. Like, those are the things you would have thought you'd fix, the things people complained about, but people were like, no, that's what makes the game But that's also why I think you didn't see waves at all about Medieval. But I would still vote Medieval over .hack because there's been a bunch of .hack games, and who the hell cares? Who cares? Who the hell cares?
Is .hack a dead franchise, chat? Because I assume they're still just like churning those things out, and I'm looking it up, and I see .hack //GU last recode came out in 2017.
And that's my thing about it is it's a dead franchise because it's dead here. It's done. Medieval wins.
Maybe that's not a game. Maybe that's like an anime or something. I can't tell.
Don't worry about it, I say. Yeah. Dead to us. Number 6, Armored Core versus number 11, Ridge Racer.
I mean, huh.
It's a tough one.
I didn't. So like when I was doing the thing last week where I was like going through and watching the trailers, I did not make it this far, and so like I'm just noticing that this matchup is here. I would go Armored Core for a similar reason as Kingsfield, where I think a From Software Armored Core game revealed at E3 or a State of Play or whatever that is, would be top. People would get hyped for that, and I could like. In the way that From Software games definitely have a form that they take nowadays, where you get your Sekiros, you get your Bloodborns, you get your Dark Souls, and they are all these difficult action games. You know, take it slow, do all that stuff, right? Get sent back to the last bonfire or whatever. I want to see what From Software's take on a Armored Core game would be, where you are in mechs and you do have you do have like the slow combat, but you also have a gun and like. From Software, whenever they take on a new title or a new genre, I am down to watch, because for playing Bloodborne and Sekiro back to back, like those games are completely different in ways that surprise me in how much they shine and how good they are. Elden Ring, I'm very excited to see, because that is going to be an open world, and I want to see what their take on that is. I want to see them revisit Armored Core, because I think with where they're at in terms of their game design and all that stuff, I think they could take it and make it something that feels relevant in a way that was way more relevant than it was back in the day.
I think Armored Core by a mile. I think Ridge Racer, Ridge Racer. That's what we remember Ridge Racer for. And we already have enough racers in the market, let alone what we're talking about with PlayStation, as, you know, Gran Turismo, and then I guess all the third-party stuff, because we didn't pass. Yeah, MotorStorm got skipped over, right? So I think, Armored Core, people loves mechs. Get them out there. Let them get back out there. Do their thing.
We need Number more 7. Great mech games.
We need better. More
great mech games.
Thank you very much. Yes, I could not even say it after I heard you say it. The next one here, 2 more matchups left. This one is Buzz Quiz World, or Buzz Quiz, number 7 versus number 10, Ape Escape.
I'm going Buzz Quiz.
I love you so fucking much, Blessing. I thought I was gonna have to fight for it. 100%, Buzz. I'm sorry. I don't understand people's their desire to get back to fucking Ape Escape.
Listen, Greg, we were a bunch of dumb kids, you know? We were just a bunch of dumb kids playing Ape Escape, thinking it was the coolest shit because it was a cute art style, but we were dumb.
It's not that you're dumb. I'm not saying you shouldn't have enjoyed it. I'm saying the people who are now like,
no, it's gotta come back. And that's why I think people want it back so badly, because they don't remember how dumb we were as kids loving this game. And it was great memories. We don't need that in 2021. Come on.
Fun nostalgia, for sure.
Buzz is one in advanced. We're not entertaining the argument, but I do have arguments for each one. James Martin wrote in and said, Buzz, let's be honest, Buzz would have killed it over lockdown for families, and nowadays with connectivity could have consistently been updated. Bring back Buzz. It's a great point, because Buzz nowadays would be, you know, the what do they call it? PlayLink, right? On your app? Yeah, where you'd be tapping in and doing it that way. You look at the success of Among Us, Jackbox, all that stuff. That's what Buzz would have been. Meanwhile, Nitpick Critic wrote into patreon.com/kindafunnygames and says, hello, Greg and Bless. I work retail, and the one thing I get asked the most by parents buying games for PlayStation is, what are some good games for kids? Outside of a handful of titles, there aren't many out there. So my pick would be Ape Escape. It's a franchise devs could have a lot of fun with, from its charming levels to its well-designed characters, and not to mention all the cool gadgets you get to use as well. I would give it to Team Asobi, personally. As much as I would love a full Astrobot game, I get the feeling Astro will always be an appetizer and never get an entree. Thanks for all you do, and keep up the great work. Nitpick Critic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the idea. I saw somebody in chat. I don't know if the chat deleted or what, but somebody mentioned like, well, imagine an Ape Escape that was like Astro's Playroom, which I think could be a cool idea. But I also think Buzz Quiz now, like if a Buzz Quiz came out this year during pandemic and all that stuff for PlayLink, that'd be such a hit. I also saw somebody else in chat say it. Imagine Buzz Quiz, but as about Battle Royale, right? Where it is like,
oh my God, 1 versus 100. Yeah.
Like that can be such a cool thing, right? And we've seen that with like awesome. And all that stuff.
Damn, that's a great one. Good idea there. And your final one for Cross, Blessing, no, fuck this up. Siphon Filter, number 2 versus Oni, a number 15 seed.
I have more nostalgia for Oni, but I can't in good faith say Oni.
I feel like it's one of those, the cards get dealt a different way, and I think Oni doesn't make a huge run at this, but is around longer than this.
I'd fight
but
for Oni
it's gotta be fucking Siphon Filter.
Even at the time playing Oni, I remember being like, all right, this game this isn't like the perfectly playing game. Like this game has flaws to it, but stylistically, like there's just something cool about Oni. And I remember getting the looking at the box art, and on the back of the box they talked about how they had real architects working on level design for the game. And I remember as a kid being like, that's so fucking cool. And then you play the games and levels weren't that great, probably because they had architects working on this game as opposed to level designers.
No, it's got to be real. You need a flow. You need to get, the legality specs of this. You need to be this far off the wall, and you have to have an entrance over here that's handicap accessible. Like, this is boring.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that game is just such a cool game, regardless. And it's definitely a thing of I have way more nostalgia for that game, more so than I can argue that it was like an amazing game or anything like that.
Sure. I'm right there with you. And I think that's too, like, I've beaten the drum, I think, several weeks now of like, hey, Siphon Filter needs to come back, especially in this, world devoid of Metal Gear. I think it's got to, and that's where it's got to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, round 1 is finally done. Wow. And that took a while, but here's where we've already made our arguments for games. So it's I have a feeling we're not going to do a post show on this one. We might just go stem to stern the entire argument. We will see what happens. Don't quote me on it. But we want to deliver this fucking winner by the end of this. But I think now we move a little bit faster, right? Because we've already made arguments on what these games are. So Barrett, I've sent you an updated one already. Let's kick it back over to Triangle, and we will just go one by one here. So your next matchup here in the Sweet 32 is SingStar versus PlayStation All-Stars. I'll do it. This is Triangle in general. SingStar versus All-Stars, Warhawk versus Parasite Eve, Jetmoto versus Spyro, Wild Arms versus Dark Cloud. Blessing, Adeoye Jr., SingStar versus PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
I'm going PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Again, it's one of those. I was so happy, that we did it over here, that we had it up the way we wanted it. But yeah, you got to go PlayStation All-Stars, I think, and put it over here. Oh, what the hell? Hold on. Oh, there it is. I was like, you ever do that thing in Photoshop where you're like control and paste, copy and paste? And I did it, and then I just fucking put PlayStation All Stars immediately into the winner bracket. I'm like, or the winner. I'm like, that's not right.
Like, calm down.
I love.
We'll get there when we get there.
We made a case for SingStar. I do think that's why I would put it over there. But you get the PlayStation All Stars. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go, baby. Warhawk versus Parasite Eve.
What do you think?
I think you sold me on this Parasite Eve. Where I love the idea of, I'd love to see what a Warhawk looks like now, but it seems like a game I wouldn't stick around for. The Parasite Eve you talked about, of this fucking creepy as hell trailer that leads into this action or this role playing game, like hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that too. I feel like Warhawk, if a modern Warhawk would come out, it'd probably go the same way as Star Wars Squadrons, where I'm sure there's still a dedicated community playing that game, but for the most part, people played that game for like a day or so and then fell off because it is such a hardcore, like that is a specific game for a specific audience. I feel like a Warhawk coming out today would probably be a bit similar to that. I'd like to see it come out and break out of that and be this fun arcade experience that everybody gets into and we play it forever. But it's hard to really imagine that compared to like the idea of a Parasite Eve. I think fascinates me more of what does that look like in 2021 with 100% that same premise given.
And that's the thing is, I think, any Warhawk you do is going to be it can be not cutesy, that's not right, but a more cartoonified war game. It can
be a Destruction All-Stars.
There's so many war games we're fighting. I don't. Yeah.
The name Warhawk definitely does come off as like all right, what does this mean? Like Call of Duty obviously has the brand Call of Duty, but there is those certain game names where it's like this is the video game, and Warhawk kind of flows into that a little bit.
I don't want to say this because then it manifests and it just runs away with it or whatever, but I'll do it all the same. In the live chat, Ryan Powala Higgins says Parasite Eve by Hideo Kojima.
That would be sick.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you trying to crown a winner right here in the second round? You're trying to figure out who's going to win this entire thing?
There would be nobody that would click on this episode and would have been like, Parasite Eve has
Parasite Eve's making a run at it, and somebody's going to say Kojima in there, and it's going to fucking roll. Let's keep moving. Clear it from mine. Jetmoto versus Spyro.
Spyro.
Right, I agree too. Where it's like, it's an interesting argument in terms of when we were talking Jetmoto versus Kessen, right? But now here we are, and you got to put Spyro. Yeah. Put some respect on the name. Here is a very interesting one: Wild Arms versus Dark Cloud.
That's Dark Cloud for me still. I just have a very soft spot for Dark Cloud, and I think if you were to bring it back today, I don't know what studio would do it. I don't know what it would look like, modernized and all that stuff. But for what Dark Cloud is mechanically, right? Like it's a dungeon crawling game where you go into these procedurally generated dungeons, find materials so they can come out and build a village. I feel like that touches on a lot of things people like about games today. Like that's basically a combination of Hades and Animal Crossing right there that you can make with a modern Dark Cloud, and I think that's a hit.
I agree with you 100%. Dark Cloud I remember getting on my PlayStation 2 and being very confused by it, but then the more I learned about it, the more interested I was in what the idea was for it. And what you're saying, I think, in terms of what it could be right now, yeah, I think that'd be a very big hit. People would be into it. So then right now, then your final four, which is not the final four, but your final four for the triangle bracket are PlayStation All-Stars versus Parasite Eve, Spyro versus Dark Cloud. We will get back to this in a second. We'll instead move on to round 2 of the square bracket, which looks like this: Wipeout versus Resistance, Tomba versus Xenosaga, Freedom Wars versus Lair, Time Crisis versus Onimusha, Wipeout versus Resistance. Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Oh, I'm going Resistance, even though I think I wouldn't be mad if Wipeout made it through also. Like it's one of those things where now that we're here, as far as PlayStation franchises and what both these games are, I feel like they kind of have equal chance of coming through and having breakout success if they did get finalized and resurrected. In the way that like a new Resistance, I don't think is a Last of Us or a Horizon or anything right like that. In the same way that Wipeout, same thing. Resistance, I'd probably be more into personally to play over a Wipeout.
Neither of these games are Greg games. Like Resistance 3 I really loved, and that was because I think they pivoted off of the Nathan Hale story and were like, here's a one man's journey across the country motivated by his family. I could get behind that from a narrative perspective. Wipeout, obviously a racing thing that just isn't my jam ever. I can see people's different arguments for it, but again, what I think would be interesting in 2021 would be, what does Resistance look like in modern PlayStation? Where I don't think they would be anchored to even making it a first-person shooter. I don't know if, like, you know what I mean? Like Resistance 1 and 2, like, look at the crazy guns we're doing and yada, yada, yada. Resistance 3, you really see even the seeds of what modern PlayStation becomes. Because it is, hey, here's this, we're taking a game, a franchise that hasn't worked 100% of the way we wanted to, completely changing it and giving you this narrative focus. And so now you come back to that franchise and you say, what do you want to tell? What story do you want to tell in the Resistance world, or restart in the Resistance world? And I don't think it is collecting enemy intel and, being so military. I think it is more a grounded personal story. And I'd be more interested in seeing that than another Wipeout.
I agree.
All right. Resistance moves on. Next up is Tomba versus Xenosaga.
This is one I do not care about.
I don't care about either. Yeah, so we'll put it in the chat. Chat, you can we'll dust off the old straw poll here. I'm giving you Tomba. I'm giving you Xeno. Whoever it is will lose to Resistance in the next round, but this is your chance to honor them, honor their sacrifice before it all goes to hell. Here it comes. Get in there live, folks watching right now on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. While you argue about that and vote your butts off, we're going to move on to the next one, which is Freedom Wars versus Lair.
It's got to be Freedom Wars.
It does have to be, and I just want to make sure you were going to say it, so I didn't have to say it. Because, I mean, again, I think it could be interesting of what does a modernized Lair look like? What in terms of, okay, cool, you're doing Lair and you're flying the dragon and this is how it's going to be. All right, cool. I get it, but is that going to be something people want to get on board with and actually go have fun with? I don't know. Freedom Wars is awesome, even if it is just a futuristic Monster Hunter.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that the Vita isn't a thing that PlayStation wants to support anymore, like,
even then it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, even then it wasn't. But if a new Freedom Wars came out, it would be a PS5 game. And what does that look like when PlayStation is putting their support behind something that is their own Monster Hunter? I think that is an interesting prospect.
Very much so. Over on the vote, by the way, Xenosaga has won easily, 68 to 32% over there. So congratulations. It now goes on to lose to Resistance. Meanwhile, Time Crisis versus Onimusha.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm if I can jump out first, I'm saying Onimusha. And I think it's because it's a game that people would love more of. Time Crisis, there's a lot of great light gun VR games. You know what I mean? That we're already talking about. I think, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Whether you're talking about a traditional on rails rush of blood kind of thing, or if you want to talk about super hot, or if you want to talk about the one pistol whip. Like, there's a bunch of stuff happening out there that is really cool and is already putting you there. I don't think you need a Time Crisis.
Yeah, a Time Crisis VR game sounds very fun, very fun to me. Coming off of Sekiro, though, I do think a new Onimusha would fill a space that people would be looking forward to. Like that game, and I was doing some YouTube research on Onimusha this last weekend to see like why did they stop doing Onimusha, and couldn't really come down on a good answer because it seemed like all the Onimusha games were good and sold pretty well. And so, I mean, it goes like if you were to make a new Onimusha, it would probably, in theory, be good and probably sell decently.
Yeah, so, I think if you did it and modernized it a bit, and people would just be stoked about it. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, in your final, moving on to the Sweet 16, your final four for the square bracket, it's Resistance versus Xenosaga, Freedom Wars versus Onimusha. There will be an interesting argument there, I'm sure. We'll then jump over to. I got my layers blocking it. Hold on. And Barrett, I sent you a new updated one. We're jumping over to Circle now. Circle looks like this right now: Tearaway versus the Getaway, Sly Cooper versus Alundra, Patapon versus Twisted Metal, Arc the Lad versus Colony Wars. Tearaway versus the Getaway. Blessing, Adeoye Jr.
You really sold me on the Getaway idea. Like before that, I probably would have said Tearaway because I want to see Media Molecule work on something that isn't Dreams, right? Like I want them to continue working on Dreams because I love Dreams, but I like the idea of them also having something that is a curated experience from the ground up, and I think that could continue to be cool. And if that was the next Tearaway game, I think that'd be awesome. But the idea of a Getaway reboot that is London Studio, that is, actiony and gritty and feeling like that is falling in line with what we know for Sony first party to be, I think that could be really cool and fun. And so I'm going the Getaway.
I 100% agree with you. Again, and this is probably my own bias of not loving Tearaway, respecting it obviously, and having a fine time with it, but not like a game I write home about. I think, again, what we're talking about into 2021 with what PlayStation Studios is, to have the Getaway come out and be that fucking hardcore London crime drama thing. I mean, take Yakuza, but make it darker. Take all the narrative stuff they found from The Last of Us, that they found from Ghost of Tsushima, all these lessons to apply to. I think it could be something really special. That moves us to the next one here now. Sly Cooper versus Alundra.
Sly Cooper.
100%. Yeah. Sorry, Alundra fans who made that happen. No love for it. And I think people have been craving a new Sly since the last one happened. And I think, again, you want to talk about PS3 and how it had maybe too many exclusives and they didn't get enough marketing and they didn't get enough room to breathe. I think there's a lot locked up in there. But Sly Cooper, a very cool game that you would make and say for kids, back to the argument we were making earlier when we were talking about Ape Escape. Patapon versus Twisted Metal.
That's awesome. That's an awesome matchup. I'm gonna say Twisted Metal. I'd like to see Twisted Metal revived over at Patapon. I know where you're gonna go with this.
I have been given 2 Patapon remasters for Patapon 1 and Patapon 2, and the world has said, without stuttering, we don't care about this franchise. So with a heavy heart, I will vote Twisted Metal and say that, I mean, again, remember, we're in the boardroom. We're doing this whole thing, right? We're having this conversation. We're trying to actually figure out what deserves and, needs another chance at life. Patapon has had 2 chances to get an audience here, and it has not worked out. And I don't think that's going to change. And I don't even think that, and I granted, I'm a big old dummy who doesn't make video games because I have no talent. I just don't see you being able to take the bones of Patapon and make that something that is 2021 needed, compliant, desired. You know what I mean? I've been lucky enough to get those games, period, let alone get 2 of them in HD on my PlayStation 4. I can let it live there, and Twisted Metal can have its day in court.
On a tangent, based on that, I do like the idea of being in the boardroom of PlayStation and that conversation coming up, and it being a conversation of, I could imagine it being Shuhei, right? Because Shuhei's doing indie stuff.
Indies. Yeah.
I can see the conversation being, hey, we're doing this whole indie initiative, and as part of it, we want to do something along the lines of UB Arts or EA Originals and have our own brand of indies and have it be led by internal teams working on these smaller experiences and have Patapon lead that charge. Granted, in that universe, I don't think Patapon would lead that charge, but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like I think that could be a cool idea, or there's something there. But yeah, I'm with you that Patapon kind of had its chance.
Sometimes you gotta let the good ones die. That's why they're legends, Barrett. That's why they're legends.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Your next one here, closing out the circle bracket to pick who goes to the Sweet 16. Arc the Lad versus Colony Wars.
I think I already forgot what Colony Wars was.
That's the thing where we're back to a game. I think I'm just like, you know what? I feel like I feel like you let the chat decide on Arc the Lad versus Colony Wars.
Yeah, I feel like chat's probably going to go Arc the Lad because there's surprising.
They were super into Arc the Lad last time we did this. Yeah, okay. So here, it's coming to you, chat. Bam. While that vote happens, well, I guess that's the last one there. Yeah, we can move on all the same. Hold on. So yeah, Arc the Lad slowly running away with it, but it's just a bunch. No, man, there's a Colony Wars comeback happening right there. We'll let it go and see.
People are digging Colony Wars.
We'll see. We'll see how that all nets out. Now we're jumping down to the cross bracket here. Your ones here are Kingsfield versus Jack and Daxter, Rogue Galaxy versus Mag, Medieval versus Armored Core, Buzz versus Siphon Filter. Come on now. Kingsfield, Jack and Daxter.
I mean, the argument for Kingsfield was the From Software stuff, and we also have Armored Core on this list, which I think is a more exciting prospect from Software. And so with that, I would go Jack and Daxter, knowing the amount of love that people have for Jack and Daxter and the amount of people that would love to see that game come back in some form.
I agree with you, and I say Jack and Daxter. Yeah, where I think Jack and Daxter has an audience, and I think is PlayStation continues to look to that nostalgia and everything else. I think Jack and Daxter could do something really cool for them. Rogue Galaxy versus Mag. Again, like, I have no love for Rogue Galaxy. I also have no love for Mag, other than that video where I team killed and got in a lot of trouble with the audience. I would say Mag, because again, we're talking about massive action game. If that's what you're moving on and that's what you're doing for, what does that look like in 2021 and from PlayStation, and how many people playing that are there? And I know there are a million other military shooters, things going on of that nature, but for this argument, I would say Mag. Well, you're with me.
I'm with you.
Closing out, we have the results in here. Arc the Lad has beaten Colony Wars 69 to 31% over here.
Nice.
So I'm now moving. Thank you. Arc the Lad advancing here. Control C, Control V. There you go. And then, all right, the final four for the cross bracket here, or whatever. The final two matchups, I guess. Medieval versus Armored Core. What do you say?
I mean, Armored Core is my pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
I never liked Armored Core, and I liked parts of Medieval.
Oh, no.
But again, is this about what you like?
Which game do you think would do better?
Yeah.
You know the answer.
Do you think Armored Core would do better
than Medieval? Than a new Medieval? Yes.
And I mean, a new from the ground up Medieval. It looks like a Pixar cartoon. They're doing a bunch of stuff for it.
Yes,
Kevin would buy
I think
that
a
game
new Armored
like
Core from Software would fucking be insane.
It is from Software. It is from Software.
And I think it'll happen someday. And then when it does happen, E3 will be loud. People will be standing up, cheering, doing all the stuff. All right, it'll be the same reaction you got from well, let me not take it too far. That might be an overstatement. It'll be a big reaction.
You sold me. Armored Core it is. Armored Core advances to the Sweet 16 here. And then the final matchup before the Sweet 16 here in the cross bracket, Buzz versus Siphon Filter.
Bzz, bzz.
Thank you, Barrett. Thank you. The Buzz fans are buzzing around the hive today. It's got to be Siphon Filter.
Yeah, I'm going to go
I want Siphon Filter. I would love a Buzz. You pitch the 1v100 online, battle royale for Buzz. That's an awesome idea. I would also love that. It's like Trivia Royale, right? By the way, Barry, you still playing Trivia Royale? Remember, that was like a hot week where we were all playing that.
That was like a week and a half, 2 weeks of my life, and then I dropped the fuck out.
Yeah, okay. But I think, Buzz, that would be an awesome way to do it and make it relevant for right now. But yeah, I still have to say, like, the more I talk about a Siphon Filter, the more excited I get for a Siphon Filter.
Did you ever play HQ Trivia?
Yeah, that was
like
the yeah. I was never into it like Gary Whitta was into it, but
yeah, I dug that too. I could see a buzz. That might be taking it too far for PlayStation. They'd probably be like, no, we're not going to have somebody host this every single day. But I do like having the live aspect of.
Oh my god, can you imagine if it was hosted every day? That'd be dope.
Yeah, Sean Layden, or not Sean Layden, Sid Schumann hosting every day.
Sean Layden rehired just to do this. All right, let's run through. These are your Sweet 16. Obviously, the pairs are matchups. Barrett, I sent it over to you too. PlayStation All-Stars versus Parasite Eve. Spyro versus Dark Cloud. Resistance versus Xenosaga. Freedom Wars versus Onimusha. The Getaway versus Sly Cooper. Twisted Metal versus Arc the Lad. Jack and Daxter versus Mag. Armored Core versus Siphon Filter. We will start as always in the triangle bracket. PlayStation All-Stars versus Parasite Eve. Blessing, your pick.
If you asked me at the beginning of this episode, I would have said PlayStation All-Stars easily. Like this would not be a question. But with the pitch of what a new Parasite Eve could be, I might go Parasite Eve. Because here's the thing: what is a new PlayStation All-Stars? What is the ceiling? I feel like it is somewhat lowish for what a new PlayStation All-Stars game can be and what it could do. Because we have Smash. Like we said this before, we have Smash. Smash is pretty much doing every single thing right. Smash has Cloud in it and Joker in it and Snake in it. Like, and it has the Castlevania characters in it. Like, if we're going to bring back a PlayStation All-Stars, if we're going to compete against Smash, the question is almost, what is the point? When they have the characters that ideally we would want in our version. And they have the gameplay. And they have the fan service. And they have the spirits. And they have all that shit. Why would we do that when we can bring back Parasite Eve? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. And that's
Something
the problem.
Says, but with Kratos, you just give Kratos a Smash. They're obviously doing it better.
Kratos is already in Fortnite.
That is true.
The issue here is that right between SOCOM versus Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve versus Warhawk, we came up with this amazing pitch for Parasite Eve. And then we attached Kojima's name to it. So, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I'm voting Parasite Eve. I can't believe I'm saying it either. I can't fucking believe I'm saying it either. But it is that thing of PlayStation All-Stars. Yeah, like, and I understand, like, people in the chat are freaking out, right? William Peter says, there is no ceiling. Bless, don't do this. Like,
how well, even if a PlayStation All-Stars at its best, what does it look like against Smash?
Also, who cares?
You can't touch it, you know? Like, but Parasite Eve right now.
Here again, we're in the boardroom and we're talking, right? The reason I'm voting Parasite Eve and pissing off so many people is that PlayStation All-Stars is just a game that we don't make. It's just a game that PlayStation doesn't make. Parasite Eve fits so perfectly into the portfolio of what PlayStation is and what you expect from a PlayStation exclusive and what's made PlayStation 4 a runaway success and what's working on PlayStation 5 right now. Sure, you can drop in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2 or whatever, but it's also like, are people going to be all about that? Is that going to drive them? Like, even for, we're all talk about how much we love Astro's Playroom, the nostalgia there. Is that resonating with everyone out there? Or is that just something in our industry that's hitting? Parasite Eve advances, and I can't fucking believe I'm saying it.
Wow. This is crazy. I'm also Emmett Watkins Jr. I know you're listening to this. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You broke that man's heart. You broke that man's heart.
Somewhere just broken right now, and I understand, and I apologize to you, kind sir. Everybody else, you don't get my apologies. I said what I said, and I meant it.
Spyro versus Dark Cloud.
Oh boy. I'm going Dark Cloud.
Yeah.
I think this is the same argument I gave before, and I'm going to say it again. A Dark Cloud in 2021 can fill that same space that Animal Crossing does, and at the same time fill the same space that Hades does. It's a dungeon crawling game where you go and collect materials to build a town. I think that has so much potential. And I think that could be a sleeper hit that starts off as something that people aren't really paying attention to, but then comes out and everybody's like, oh fuck, this game is awesome. It tugs at all the strings that I love from Hades, of the going in the dungeon and fighting and the procedural generation and all that stuff. But at the same time, I can have a town and talk to people and collect new villagers and doing all that stuff. Like, I think that is just a unique, exciting game.
Blessing Adeoye Jr., you are correct. You know
Thank
what
you.
I mean? Spyro got its collection. People didn't care that much about it. People want to act like they're all. People want to act like
Bandicoot.
People want to act like Spyro is on Crash's level of nostalgia and everybody needs it. Yeah, they don't. They don't.
To be fair, Spyro, better games than the Crash games, like on PlayStation 1.
What?
Yes. I will die on this hill that the Spyro games are better than the Crash games. But they don't have the same.
Don't hurt them.
They don't have the same forever.
No.
Your triangle, your matchup in the geez, I can't your first Elite 8 matchup is Parasite Eve versus Dark Cloud, but we'll get back to that. Going down to square, and Barrett, I already sent you that updated one. Going down to square now, we are looking at Resistance versus Xeno Saga. I assume this is Resistance, as it should be.
Yeah, I'm going
again.
Resistance.
I want to see what current PlayStation would make with a Resistance thing. Doesn't even have to be a first-person shooter, especially when you consider Resistance Retribution on the PSP was the best Resistance game in the entire series.
People in chat are in disagreement right now over the Spyro.
I freeze.
Yeah,
he froze.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. They're in disagreement over the Spyro
versus Crash.
Yeah.
Some people are saying Crash, some people are saying Spyro. I assume more people are going to say Crash. Crash is more popular.
I mean, we're going to piss off a lot of people.
We need to drop. We are going to piss off a lot of people in this episode, so I was prepared for it.
I believe it was Bander SN a while back, but it could have been somebody else in live chat who just was like, "We're losing this. This bracket's starting to get away from us," as we kept making choices the chat was not about. But you get your own PlayStation show. Resistance moves on to the Elite 8. Now we have to decide if it's Freedom Wars or Onimusha.
I'm going Onimusha.
You know, I got to go Freedom Wars. This is where we got to break on this one.
I understand.
I respect your choice. I feel like we don't need an Onimusha when we have a Ghost. We already have a Ghost of Tsushima. Why do I need to worry about
I think Jad's going to disagree with you there, Greg.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm arguing for a Vita game, and there's a bunch of uncultured swine watching this show, and they won't do it. They'll all say Tim Gettys is going to run
people who didn't want to invest their money in a dumb platform. Yeah.
Okay, so is the guy who spent how much on the stupid PC he's got right now?
I'm dumb.
Not PC. PC was a great investment. A Vita, I don't know if that's a great investment. You know?
Hey man, you could be remote playing all your games right now in it.
People are like, you need to play the Vita to play Persona 4 Gold. And guess what? Got it on my PC, fuckers.
That's true, fuckers. That is what happened. That's how it shook out for you. The poll is up right now, and it is close. You need to vote if you're here live on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. 50-50 right now, Freedom Wars, Onimusha.
Is crazy.
They are back and back. No, because Onimusha, again, like, don't worry about it. Why do we need an Onimusha? We got a Ghost now. And like we can argue that why do you need a Freedom Wars? You got a Monster Hunter. I need a Freedom Wars because I'm in the far-flung future fighting for my Panopticon, and I got a Thorn, and I'm working on my sentence. I'm doing all this stuff.
It's not a question of need. It's a question of one. Because we also have a Sekiro, which I feel like is probably a little bit closer to Onimusha.
There you go. Look at this.
Between Ghost and Sekiro, you don't really need an Onimusha, but the people want an Onimusha.
I will tell you right now, one game is ahead by one vote. So
no.
I'm gonna say I'll give you voting. It's on auto, like it auto goes. Oh, hold on, yeah, it auto goes, and so I see it updating. It's very updating. It's updating. Oh, there we go. Now it's half and half. Woo, woo. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go on. We're gonna do the first matchup in circle. Then we will come back and decide what the winner here is in square. All right.
Sounds good.
And Barrett, you need to. Did you already voice an opinion, Barrett?
On what?
Freedom Wars versus Onimusha. Don't say so if you or don't tell me what it is. Yeah. Okay. But why you don't like?
I mean, I went and
voted.
I went and voted.
Oh, okay, great then. Okay, then we're fine. We're gonna go over here then. Circle right now. Your final four from the circle. So your Elite 8 matchup right now. The Getaway versus that's not right. Your Getaway versus Sly Cooper, Twisted Metal versus Arc the Lad. Those are the ones we need to decide right now. But right now we're deciding the Getaway versus Sly Cooper. Blessing.
Who's gonna say it? Which one?
I'm saying the Getaway.
Y'all are
thank
get
God
the fuck out of here, both of you. This bracket fucking sucks.
Getaway.
Y'all need to be fired. Really no, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't even have the nostalgia for Sly Cooper, and I want a Sly Cooper game more than Getaway. Come on, man.
Real quick, did you play Sly Cooper 4?
I didn't play any of them.
There you go. Then there you go. You can go play that while I get the Getaway, and everybody's happy.
Y'all are dumb.
Chat is hilarious right now.
Yeah,
This is one of my favorite episodes of the show, by the way.
This
We got to do
broken.
brackets like once every quarter or something.
You find something to make a bracket about? Sure.
This is why I stopped doing brackets every week on my streams, because it just turned into us all yelling at each other.
Ah, man, you're arguing about a bunch of great stuff. It's great. But speaking of, we are still deadlocked. Freedom Wars versus Onimusha. It is 50-50. Down.
Oh, wow.
If anybody has not voted, you need to go vote. I'm spamming it in chat one more time over here.
I can't
I'm sorry
believe
we had to.
that is a testament to the listener base of this podcast, because any other show would not have that be 50-50.
Yeah.
That is very specifically beyond PSLW XOXO thing. That Freedom Wars is tied up with Onimusha right now.
And I want to, a lot of people are, oh man, but Sly. Ray Hayes, what a disappointment. Like, you know what? You had your chance. You already had a Sly and you didn't support it enough to make another one. So there you go. Give the getaway a chance to
also,
breathe out
Arc
there.
Wing saying Jack better win this if Sly gets out. Y'all are going to be hugely disappointed about what Jack and Dexter does, because I know what's going to happen here. I know what's going to fucking happen when we get to Cross, and it's going to be like y'all are going to put
the anger in Barrett's voice. in the fucking reality, the reality in Barrett's voice right there. Just like, you better fucking.
Like, Blessing is more of a Nintendo fanboy than he is a PlayStation fanboy here, because if he had the same love, he would fight way more for Jack and Dexter and Sly Cooper. God, come on.
Hey, now,
man.
first off, I already told you how much I love Jack and Dexter. All right, so don't be putting it all on him. Good news, we have it. If you all went, we have a decisive vote. Freedom Wars has won 55.17% of the vote to 44.83% of the vote. I am happy with you all. I love you, and I appreciate you all. Freedom Wars fans, represent. So the getaway is advanced to the Elite Eight. Now we have to decide if it's Twisted Metal or Arc the Lad.
Oh, it's Twisted Metal.
100% it's Twisted Metal. Get out of here. Come on.
I'm laughing because I remember last time we did a bracket and we got to like Spider-Man versus Bloodborne, and Barrett was like, "Oh, this is easy. Finally, Spider-Man gets out." And both me and Greg are like, "What? What do you think?
Wait,
who do you think we are?" Even though nowadays I would pick Bloodborne over Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, y'all picked Spider-Man because y'all weren't playing Bloodborne back then. And even someone who, like, I'm not into the Souls games, I recognize that I think Bloodborne is a definitely more masterful crafted game. You fucking nerds.
Yeah, but Peter Parker.
Bloodborne's
You don't
fine.
even like Peter Parker, Blessing.
I love Peter
He
Parker.
doesn't like Miles Morales.
Oh, he doesn't like
Morales,
Miles
and
Morales. Right. He really hates Miles Morales.
Too cool.
Bloodborne's fine. I sent you the thing, Barrett, the most updated.
I don't want to show it at this point.
I love
fucking hate
it.
this
Barrett's job at Kind of Funny is us sending things that make him mad and him having to show them or tweet them or do whatever.
Yeah.
Let's finish off the cross bracket to get your final Elite Eight or the Elite Eight locked in. Right now we have Jack and Daxter versus Mag, and then Armored Core versus Siphon Filter. Jack and Daxter versus Mag. Jack and Daxter, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jack and Daxter. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, y'all are about to be real disappointed next round.
Armored Core versus Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter. Blessing.
Oh shit. Do it, Bloods, do it.
I'd go Armored Core. I'm going Armored Core.
And we're going to the poll. You have to pick, ladies and gentlemen, for your final Elite Eight spot between Armored Core or the one and only Siphon Filter.
I do really like the pitch that you've given on Siphon Filter. Or something to help replace Metal Gear Solid, put Kojima on it, all this. Also, we could say put Kojima on any of these games.
I don't. Well, I guess I did back today. I haven't said put Kojima on. I'm just saying a Siphon Filter that comes in and fills the Metal Gear gap that we have right now.
I just try to imagine for what this bracket is, right? Resurrecting a franchise, give PlayStation a banger. I close my eyes and I think of what a Siphon Filter, let's say developed by Ben, right? Siphon Filter, Ben Studios, what that on an E3 screen would do versus From Software Armored Core. And I see the pop being way bigger for Armored Core From Software.
You're crazy. I think that it would be mechs, and that's cool. And the vote isn't going.
The vote isn't going the way I wanted to.
What a surprise, Barrett.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you'll just get in line with me and you'll always be on my side. Right now, Siphon Filter is winning.
I was trying to play the fucking the numbers game here, because if I got Armored Core to win, then maybe Jack and Dexter would have a shot next year.
That is some good politics you got there, Barrett. I appreciate that quite a bit. But no, Siphon Filter, I'm calling it, has won. It is close, but it does. I mean, it's slowed down here on the auto votes. Right now, Siphon Filter wins 57-43. and moves on to the Elite Eight. Your Elite Eight looks like this: Parasite Eve versus Dark Cloud, Resistance versus Freedom Wars, The Getaway versus Twisted Metal, and Jack and Daxter versus Siphon Filter.
What new image for me?
What? Yeah, you should already have it. Did I not send it?
No, I don't think so.
No, I did. I knew Siphon Filter was going to net out on that one. 205 bracket number 9 should be the one you should use.
No, it's not the most. It's not like completely updated, but
what's it missing? Oh, you're right. My apologies, everybody. My apologies. Yeah, hold on.
This is a good final 8 or final.
Yeah.
I see what I did.
Numbers
8s.
Putting this in there like this. Everybody, hold on.
Bander has said in the chat says, today I learned what the getaway is, and I now hate it.
All right, so there you go, Bear. Sorry.
Parasite Eve and the Getaway get this far in this bracket.
This is why you'll play them on paper. This is why any given Sunday, anything can happen out there. Again, now that you're looking at it, your Elite 8 are Parasite Eve, Dark Cloud, Resistance, Freedom Wars, The Getaway, Twisted Metal, Jack and Daxter, Siphon Filter, Blessing Adeoye Jr., Parasite Eve versus Dark Cloud.
I have to go with my. I gotta still stick by Dark Cloud. I love Dark Cloud too much to roll with the shenanigans, though. I do love the pitch that we've made for Parasite Eve.
Again, the pitch is great, but think about what would be the
Dark Cloud pitch is great too.
Yeah.
I'm going Dark Cloud.
You're going Dark Cloud?
Mm-hmm.
I have gone through the looking glass and drank too much of the Kool-Aid. I am picking Parasite Eve, and now it's to the chat to decide what they like more, because we're
Greg, think about it though. Like, what's going to get more
think about it.
Attention?
We're talking about two great games. What are you talking about? Like, there's no losing here, Barrett. There's no losing.
I don't know if Parasite Eve reviewed that well back in the day, but like,
doesn't matter. Nothing reviewed well back in the day. Kids were idiots.
All of us woke up today and chose chaos.
We did choose chaos. I will love it if the finals though is Parasite Eve versus The Getaway.
Imagine, because that's the thing. I love it because like everybody's been on this 2-hour ride with us, and like they kind of see where it's all happened. Imagine just looking at the end of this bracket. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck were they doing?" I love it. Blessing, you want to give this is final call for your votes right now. Parasite Eve versus Dark Cloud.
Please, for the love of God, more people vote.
Give me a 10-second countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the final 4 is Parasite Eve.
What?
You did too well, Blessing. You made a monster, and now the monster's loose. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Blessing, congratulations. You played yourself.
How did I pitch a Parasite Eve game that people are just gonna like go crazy for? Over a new Dark Cloud. We're better than this, everybody.
Now we need to pick, which will go to the final 4: Resistance or Freedom Wars.
I mean, honestly, I'd take Parasite Eve over these. I guess I'd go. I'd go Resistance.
I'd like to see a Resistance. I go Resistance as well. I think that's the same idea we've said over and over again, but to summarize, right? Like a 2021 PlayStation, a 2021 Insomniac. Hey, you've seen what PlayStation first single player games are. What would we make it? What do we look like? Where do we make that? Freedom Wars, I just want a Freedom Wars 2. That's not the same thing. Sorry, but I see everybody freaking out about Freedom Wars. I let you down, but it had to be done.
Freedom Wars World.
There you go. You know what I mean? But it's monsters. Let's do a prequel. You know what I mean? Before we had all the technology and the panopticons.
Freedom Wars. Freedom Wars Rise.
Okay,
sure.
You're losing me.
Crazier things.
Freedom Wars Rise.
Blessing. Will it be The Getaway or Twisted Metal in the final 4?
The Getaway.
It is going to be The Getaway.
It is The Getaway.
Damn it.
Oh god, it's so good.
Brad makes a good point. Like who showed up for that PS3 game? I think I played a demo and I was like, I'm good. You know.
I do not need this in my life again.
I did not need more of this. Yeah. The demo was fine. That's all I needed of this. They had a shot. Give Freedom Wars another shot, or not Freedom Wars. Sorry, The Getaway another shot.
Who will enter the final four? Jack and Daxter or Siphon Filter?
What do you think, Greg?
I think Siphon Filter.
I also think Siphon Filter.
Yep. I hate you both. I
love how you saw it coming from a mile away. There's nothing you could do to stop the train.
Man, Jack and Dexter's gonna make it, and like even from the first round, I looked at Siphon Filter. I was like, Jack and Dexter does not have a fucking chance.
2021 PlayStation Siphon Filter, a first party, just getting to make a dope as fuck secret agent game. Come on, let's go. Third person.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my argument against that. We got Hitman.
IO, yeah.
We've got the 007 game. I
would like for the record. I would like you to strike from the record, Hitman, because Hitman is a fun assassination game and everything else. And I know there's a bunch of weird stuff going on there, but that's not what Siphon Filter is. Siphon Filter is the wetsuit, night vision, earpiece. It's Metal Gear. It's Tom Clancy.
Yeah. No. Tom Clancy.
Splinter Cell. Yeah. I was like, why can I not?
Man, Ubisoft is putting out a lot of games where they put the dude in Splinter Cell in, so they've got that market.
But no Splinter Cell games. But yes, a lot of games like that. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, Jack and Dexter, I think, should be the winner of all of these games, and y'all can fuck off.
I do love a Jack and Dexter. I do. You know what I mean? I do. But even them, we haven't seen the support and juice they need to make another one. Apparently, Barrett, I'm sending you the final four right now. Blessing, fill time.
I am looking up the trailer for Parasite Eve right now.
You're gonna watch this trailer and be like, "Oh my god, this game looks terrible."
We gotta watch a trailer for Parasite Eve and then watch a trailer for Siphon Filter when we have this final conversation, because we know where this is going.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, your final four is Parasite Eve, Resistance, The Getaway, Siphon Filter. Parasite Eve versus Resistance. Blessing Adeoye Jr.
It's Parasite Eve. I'd prefer to see a new Parasite Eve over a new Resistance.
How the fuck did we get here?
Which is a sentence I don't think I never imagined I'd say that sentence. I'd say that sentence out loud.
Would you rather see a Parasite Eve over an Onimusha?
I mean, me personally, for the pitch I gave, yes. But for like, if we're gonna greenlight one and now it's PlayStation, I'd probably go Onimusha because I know the fervor for Onimusha.
That's where we went wrong. We cut Onimusha too soon.
Yeah, I mean, if Armored Core won against whatever it lost against, if it won against Siphon Filter, Jack and Daxter might be here, but it's not.
I was trying to play the politics there. I gave away my strategy
hand
too early. Yeah.
Tipped your hand.
My thing is for what this bracket is, right? Resurrection, we're PlayStation, we're rebooting a franchise, we're bringing back a franchise. I've always thought Resistance has been fine. I've never been a huge Resistance person. I do like the idea of what does a Resistance look like when it's brought back, and it is, like Greg said, a third person, or it is Insomniac giving it the love and attention, or doing whatever, right? I think that could be cool, but Resistance had a lot of shots also.
Arkwing in the chat asks, have you guys even played Parasite?
That's the one that made me crack up when he's like, what the fuck? I am voting Resistance here. I am letting my dream of Parasite Eve run into the reality of Resistance and a 2021 Insomniac being able to do whatever they want. So the poll is open. It has been sent out to you, ladies and gentlemen, here in the live chat. Please go in and vote either Parasite Eve or Resistance, and we will get down to brass tacks on who is going to be in the finals.
Trailer for Parasite Eve, because it might sell you.
When again, I was the whole point of have you played these games? I did start Parasite Eve for sure back in the day. I remember jack shit about it though. In my problem, but I do believe that that's neither here nor there for it, because we've made this pitch in our head, right, of this weird Hideo Kojima action role playing game we have out here. Where it's like, that sounds fucking dope.
But at that point, is it Parasite Eve anymore?
Well, I mean, I'm basing this off of gameplay and reviews that I watched last week, right? And things I've seen about Parasite Eve over the years, and I understand it to be this Resident Evil-ish, Square's take on Resident Evil with JRPG elements mixed in with it. And for that, at the time, from the reviews I watched, didn't seem like an incredible game. But you take that, you give it to somebody who's competent, and you put that game out in 2021 as something that is a scary, different, weird JRPG. I think that hits. I think that's fresh. I think that's different. I think that's cool.
Critics highlighted the shocking opening scene where the entire opera audience spontaneously combusts. That doesn't sound fucking awesome. That doesn't sound fucking awesome.
That sounds like some Hideo Kojima shit, honestly.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sold. Parasite Eve to the top. Let's go.
The votes are in, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to remind everybody, you had the chance to be here. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. If you're going to be mad about any of the results, you have no one to blame but yourself. With 55% of the vote, Parasite Eve goes to the finals.
Let's go, baby.
Chaos.
We're bringing it back.
Parasite Eve has made it to the finals. Barrett, I would like you to prep the Parasite Eve trailer, and then whichever the one over here wins, so we see it. Because on the other side of the bracket, to decide who goes to the finals, it's either the Getaway or Siphon Filter.
Oh, fuck.
I am with all my heart voting for Siphon Filter.
I'm going for the Getaway.
I love it.
You sold me. You sold me.
This is the thing. Again, to this point, this is like when we're arguing about Game of the Year. At this point, all these games sound rad. Everything we've done for this, I'm in for. Making the poll now.
I want London Studio to have their coming out moment where we realize that they are, talented and they can put out a hit. Because Blood and Truth was awesome.
Yes,
but it was also in VR. I want to see them make a non-VR game, and I want to see them expand and get and put out something that is that, but accessible and playable and all the stuff outside of VR, so it can be a hit.
I wanted to. I'm seeing this a lot in the chat, and I want you all to know I am right there with you. Cassidy says, "Damn, I kind of want to play Parasite Eve now." No joke, I might buy Parasite Eve after this podcast. Oh my god, I love it.
To be clear, I don't think Parasite Eve was like a great game. I mean,
the synopsis sounds great,
but if you bring it back, it has the potential.
Pitch.
Yeah.
The player takes on the role of Adeoye Jr, an NYPD rookie attending the opera at Carnegie Hall with a blind date in New York on Christmas Eve 1997. During the opera, everyone in the building spontaneously combusts, except for Aya and the actress on stage named Melissa Pierce. Aya confronts Melissa on stage, and Melissa says that Aya's mitochondria need more time to develop. She flees backstage. Aya giving chase. Backstage, they then mutters into a beast and flees into the sewers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Declaring her name is now Eve. This game sounds awesome.
And it has a 7.4 on IGN, 7.2 on GameSpot, 81 Metacritic. Good game, according to the reviews.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to face Parasite Eve in the finals by a deciding factor of 68% is the one, the only Siphon Filter.
Dang, I was really hoping it was going to be the Getaway.
That would have been so chaos. At least I can understand Siphon Filter a little bit here. I can understand it. If the top two was Parasite Eve and the Getaway purely on like these fucking pitches that you god. This show is so dumb.
I love it. God, I love it. The anarchy, the chaos. We feast on it here.
Yasin Bohan in the chat makes a good point and says it should have been Oni. I agree. I feel like we could have given a great Oni pitch.
Oh,
I don't know what it would have been, but we could have given one, and it probably could have been carried forward.
Barrett, I sent you the new updated thing showing Siphon Filter and how we got here in the finals. Do you have them, or do you need me to find you trailers for Parasite?
I got trailers. Filter? If they're, we'll see how.
Oh shit, we won't be able to hear them though. You mentioned, right?
Yeah. Hold on, I actually should be able to fix that. Hold on.
All right, while you do that, I'll say, hey, everybody, remember, this is a PS I Love You, XOXO, an extra long episode today. Remember, I hope you understand, patrons, we probably won't do the post show because obviously we've bled into the time when Blessing usually eats lunch, and I've bled into the next show I'm about to do. And
I've actually already eaten lunch, so I'm good on that.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I need to get the next show I'm doing live or ready for live. And then I also now need to check if I'm missing something because I often put phone calls in between these dead times. And I definitely don't. Did I miss anything today? No, I'm good on the calls. I mean, so you have right there. It says you record a thing, so you got stuff going on too.
Yeah, but I can record that whenever.
Fine then, Blessing. You want to do a post show? You can do a fucking post show. We're doing a fucking post show. Let's see what you just did. I gave you 15 outs. Barrett's got things to do. The chat understands. Let's watch the Siphon Filter trailer.
Taking us back, 989 Studios. Wait, was it not Ben that did Scam? dude, this is like reaching back into my memories.
Are you?
I remember
come on.
Video game trailers were different.
This is taking me back. I had a demo disc, like a PS1 demo disc, with I think this exact trailer on it. PlayStation Underground.
Look at that, the night vision, the thing out there, the rain. God, the stun gun. You kidding me right now?
This would be cool if they brought it back. I would want like a Naughty Dog to do it. For audio listeners, that he's
shooting
doing
things and running around.
It looks like third person GoldenEye.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
god.
all you needed. That's all you fucking needed.
He was in a museum and he literally shot down or I don't know if it was a museum, but he shot down like a plane that was like, or a flying ship that was hanging in the sky. Shot it down and smashed it down on people. All right, here's Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve, a game that's about to spike on the PlayStation Store for no reason.
Squaresoft.
Look at that, New York, Christmas Eve.
We got directed by the director of Chrono Trigger? I'm sold. Let's go.
The cinematic RPG for PlayStation.
So, Greg, was 989 Studios, did they turn independent?
What?
Do you know?
Yeah. I'll explain it afterwards.
Okay.
Here, I'll just bring up the official link. But it was like Ben was Edict before. It's a thing. But like, yeah, 989 approached Ben to
Millions of years ago, the mitochondria began to live silently within our bodies.
There's the theater.
That's the they're gonna explode. We ruined that part for you.
Have only to live among us. Or do they?
Come on now. Put Kojima at the helm of this.
Kojima would rock this.
What the fuck?
God, I miss the 90s, dude.
I don't.
Like, I didn't even know I was young for the 90s.
Look at this barf coming out of the ground.
I miss 90s games and trailers.
It's hard
and shit.
not to laugh at it because the presentation, like, you have to imagine when this came out, it was like, holy fuck, this is cool.
Dope as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally right.
but like watching it now is like Jesus Christ. But again, imagining like Hideo Kojima doing something like this, yeah, this would be fucking
But, off of Death Stranding.
insane.
It's the whole fucking game here. We're spoiling everything, you know?
The Death Mansion.
Look at these helicopters coming in to fight stuff. I'm telling you, a modernized version of this, getting fucking crazy with it, would be dope as hell.
I'd be into it. Oh my god. Liquid just took over a dinosaur and it became like a
Jeez, that rat's
skeleton.
pissed. Whoa! Ew. Sorry, audio listeners. This rat's turning into something. It's got the parasite in it.
That looks great even for 98 or whenever that just came out.
Whoa.
Ray Hayes says, how many siphon filter type games we got today? Now compare that to how many Parasite Eve games we have. Come on.
He makes a good point.
I just think that's funny because that's been a lot of our arguments today.
Oh man, she's in this guy's head.
Did he throw up and then made the plane explode?
I think his head exploded.
Imagine being in a
like
Sony boardroom.
Is this Eve?
I think we get
I
it.
think
Yeah,
that's
that's Eve. You know,
Imagine being in a Sony boardroom, showing them this trailer and being like, we want to
nailed
remake
it.
this. We want to bring this back.
Listen, guys, we think there's a lot of untapped potential here in Parasite Eve, and that's where we're going with it.
Those are the two games we've come down to.
Blessing Adeoye Jr. in the
They're monsters.
finals of the PlayStation Resurrection bracket. It is Parasite Eve versus Siphon Filter. How do you vote?
It's hard because I could see the potential in both. Obviously, as we talked about it through this whole podcast, I think the pop for a Siphon Filter, depending on the studio, depending on the circumstances around it,
Sure.
would probably be bigger than the pop for a Parasite Eve. That said, if you got the right people on Parasite Eve and introduced it in a way where people like Parasite Eve does not have the name recognition is the battle that I'm having here.
Sure.
If I was to pick a game that I'd prefer, that Parasite Eve game seems pretty sick. But Siphon Filter, I feel like it has more potential to be a hit. Like has more potential to sell. If I was Sony, I was resurrecting a game. I got to go Siphon Filter.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the PlayStation Resurrection bracket on this episode of PS I Love You XOXO is Siphon Filter.
At least a game that makes sense.
Oh my God, what a journey this has been. Barrett, I'm kicking it over to you here. Hold on with your Victor up there. And to your point earlier, so it was 989 Studios approached Edict Studios before they were Sony Bend and had them make Siphon Filter. And then after, I think, maybe 2 Siphon Filters, maybe just the first one, they bought them and made them Sony Bend.
Gotcha.
So that's why the 989 Studios logo pops up there. There you go. Siphon Filter, your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what a fun time, Blessing.
That was a great bracket. I was worried right there because a lot of these games are like whatever, but we made this work.
We killed it. This was amazing. And I think the chat will agree we nailed it. We did exactly what, you know what I mean? They were happy. Barrett was happy.
No, I wasn't.
Everybody was stoked about where it ended up. You know what I mean? And if they aren't, they can make their own.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say now in retrospect. If Siphon Filter...
In retrospect!
I'm saying, now seeing, where it all ended up, right? If Jack and Daxter had to die for Siphon Filter to win it all, I'm fine with that. But I would personally have picked Jack and Daxter. It hurt in the moment. I saw it coming from the first round. I saw it coming, but... At least, again, the pitch for Parasite Eve, I think, is more interesting than what we would actually get of Parasite Eve ever coming back. So at least, Parasite Eve didn't fucking make you guys drink the Kool-Aid until the fucking winning spot.
Just look at that as you go back. Parasite Eve clowning out every PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Dark
the one
Cloud.
I think...
Dark
for the
Cloud.
amount of
come on,
when kids were doing their bracketology and sharing it, I saw PlayStation all the time. All Stars was winning it. It was out there winning it, and then here it is, climbed out by Parasite.
That way, I feel like that is a crime. Also, want to shout out Mark Starvaji in chat talking about
he was so angry
because I say that I talk about how much I love 3D platformers. And I let Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper die. This is the thing I want to point out, though.
And this is why I think you're a Nintendo shill, not a PlayStation shill.
Here's the thing: if you had a PS2 as a kid, there was a trifecta of 3D platformers. There's Ratchet and Clank, there's Jack and Daxter, and there's Sly Cooper. And there was also Tack and the Power of Juju if you're unlucky. I made the right choice, and I picked the franchise that didn't die, which was Ratchet and Clank. And so, if anything, I know what I'm doing out here. I know the decisions to make. I know what franchise to ride and die for. That's Ratchet and Clank. It's Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank was the best one out of the 3.
I
made the good
I mean, I love Jack and Daxter. You know what I mean? But Ratchet and Clank has made so many games. That's why you can't really be like, I can't not see it. I see it. You know what I mean? It breaks my heart.
Jack 2 definitely does not hold up for sure.
See, Jack 2 is one I loved so much.
They tried to make it too much GTA, and then
agreed. They let him talk. They gave it the edge to it. Right, that was a big deal.
And that was cool. I thought that was a good direction for them. But then the openness and trying to go into story missions where you have to drive around in the hovering motorcycles, and it just feels janky and terrible, and it's not fun. A lot of what they added gameplay wise, I would say just didn't hold up super well.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Siphon Filter, and congratulations to everyone in the live chat who showed up today to make their votes heard and get really, really angry. A special thumbs down to my dog Nick96, who says, "Where's the shout-outs to other dead series like Folklore, Eye of Judgment, and The Puppeteer? Where were you? I told you, kindafunny.com/bracket, and you tell SD Infected he would have put it in there. Instead, it was the other people showed up with cool borders, and that's what got in there. I'm just kidding. I love you, my dog, Nick96. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this extra long, jam-packed episode of PS I Love You XOXO. Remember, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames to catch the show live as we record it, like so many people were today, to be part of the show with your comments, to get it ad-free, and usually get a post-show. Again, we are way over time today, and we all have stuff to do before the next show or the next thing we need to do. So hopefully you'll forgive us. I didn't want to cut any of the argument here because, of course, the Parasite Eve pitch was just too good. It was just too good.
It was. I won it.
Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, why not leave in the comments what you would have picked for the winner of this? I love to see your brackets. Share them with me at GameOverGreggy on Twitter. We'll have another episode next week on Tuesday. Remember, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get this show, thank you for supporting it. Consider going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can get it early and all the jazz I've already said. You know the rigmarole. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.